quits there in Pittsburgh. Now, according to every report I've seen, this was all Mike Tomlin's idea. The Steelers did not fire him. He stepped down. He informed the owner. Then he informed his team that he was going to call it quits. And he's done that today after 19 years, which means there is another high-profile head coaching job open in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers. There are all kinds of openings when it comes to the NFL and people interviewing and doing all kinds of stuff. 9 teams need a head coach right now. Now, you're hearing about interviews all over the place, but I guarantee you now there's some ears that have perked up knowing that the Pittsburgh Steelers job has now become available. None more so probably than Mike McCarthy. He's a Pittsburgh guy. I can imagine that Mike McCarthy is probably on the phone to his agent right now saying, get me an interview. And not sure if he's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for, because I don't even know if they know what they're looking for at this point in time, simply because, well, they didn't know this was coming. According to Adam Schefter, I'm watching a report just a few minutes ago before I came out here and got on the air, that the Steelers were blown away. They were completely blindsided by this. And it's crazy how this happened, that Tomlin just decided to go in and say, that is it for me. I'm going to step down. He had a meeting with his players, and some of the players have talked to reporters since. And obviously there's a lot of sadness there in Pittsburgh. Players love Mike Tomlin, and what's not to love? The guy's a great guy. He's a great football coach. But when you're talking about 19 years on the job, you lost again in the first round of the playoffs. By the way, way to go, Texan fan. Yeah, you got Mike Tomlin canned. Good for you. Yeah, James Pledger, very happy about that. But again, the Pittsburgh Steelers cannot win a playoff game, and that's got to wear on Mike Tomlin. And it looked like it was wearing on him as they kept showing him at the end of that football game last night, and he was just the look on his face was pretty bad. The same with Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Can I just ask anybody that's out there, and if you want to comment, there are several ways to do this. If you want to go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, you can do that. Please like and subscribe said page. You can comment there if you want to. You can get me on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210, or you can call the old-fashioned way. The phone lines are open, as they always are, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. I just want to ask a question. Number one, I'm sad today. I will be honest with you, because after 19 years of watching Mike Tomlin, I'm not a Steelers fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a Mike Tomlin fan. And the guy is just a class act. And to have him step down is just kind of the end of an era. You had John Harbaugh first, then Mike Tomlin, and so it's just man, things are changing in the NFL. But the question that I have for all of you listening, every single one of you, how old did Aaron Rodgers look last night? I'm wondering, was it 80? Perhaps 90? I don't know, 110? The guy looked like an old, grumpy man. Now, I know a lot of people accuse me of that, but I God forbid I look as old as that dude, and he's about 20 years my youth. Goodness gracious, he looked like an old man. And look, the Texans defense absolutely fantastic last night. There's no question about that. But they did not have to chase around a quarterback at all. Yeah, there was no chasing a quarterback. He's not mobile. He couldn't get out of the way. All he could do was throw the football away, that vaunted Texans pass rush. And I tell you what, it was incredible. But as Mike Tomlin goes, Aaron Rodgers needs to go. He's done. He is absolutely done.
I think he's a bum.
And he's got to go. He's got to see that. And maybe this will give him a little bit of a push to get on his way and do whatever it is Aaron Rodgers wants to do in retirement, because I just don't see him helping the Pittsburgh Steelers. Certainly with a new head coach, I'm not sure they're going to want him there. And number two, who else is going to want this guy? Nobody. I can't imagine anybody wanting Aaron Rodgers. So it's time for him to call it a day, too. And I think the news that Mike Tomlin has stepped down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers will certainly spur that along a little bit. Look, I tell you guys all the time, and I mean it sincerely, I don't want to see these guys, these greats, in whatever sport it happens to be, go out looking like Aaron Rodgers went out looking last night. Unbelievable. His final pass, which I hope it's his final pass, was a pick six. A pick six. And he didn't do much better the rest of the time. I don't know, watching that football game, we're going to talk a lot more about it. We'll hear from D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud, who, yuck, C.J. Stroud, what the hell was that last night out of you? I'm not sure. We'll get into that coming up here in just a moment. But the big news today is Mike Tomlin stepping down. The Steelers keep head coaches, and I was going back looking at this thing. They'll be looking for their fourth head coach since 1969. Think about that. That's incredible. All started with Chuck Noll. He got hired in 1969. He was there until 1991. 4 Super Bowls for Chuck Noll, by the way. Bill Cowher took over after that in 1992. He stayed until 2006. 1 Super Bowl for Bill Cowher, and then Mike Tomlin, 2007 to 2026. Also 1 Super Bowl for one coach, Tomlin. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are not used to looking for head coaches, but they're going to have to now, and I'm sure they're going to get a lot of applicants for that job, because it is one of those jobs in the NFL that just obviously doesn't come open very often. And well, it is open now, which leads us to our latest poll question on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. We want to know from you, what is the best opening in the NFL right now, head coach opening? Now, Pledge has put 4 options for you on this poll: the Ravens, the Steelers, the Giants, or the Dolphins. Those are the 4 you've got to choose from. Go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page and pick one that you like. Right now, it's early on. The New York Football Giants are leading the way at 40%. The Ravens at 35%. So you can go there and vote in our poll. We'll leave that thing up the entire show and give you the results as we get toward the end of the show today. But what a game last night. And I say what a game. It was just baffling. The whole thing was just baffling. And I want to get into it because, yes, that Texans defense is for real. They are fantastic. Best defense in the National Football League as far as I'm concerned. Just pressure. They're dogs. They have an identity. The secondary is good. Everything about that is good. But let me just piss you off, Texan fan. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Pledge. Looking right at you, buddy. And every other Texan fan that's out there. And I understand there's about 800 of you now that went to that thing. So instead of 6, there's 800. But I just want to say something. As good as that Texans defense is, you're going to face a mobile quarterback in Drake May. Now, I know because Pledge has already reminded me there was some guy named Josh Allen that came to town, and he's pretty mobile too, and the Texans handled him pretty well. You're going to face an offense that can put some points on the board, that can run the football, that's got some receivers. If C.J. Stroud can't play any better than he did last night, and if he turns the football over 3 times, you are not going to walk out of New England with a W. You're not. C.J. Stroud is going to have to play better than he played last night, and quite frankly, he was awful. I even, in our chat, I don't know if you saw this, Pledge, in our WhatsApp chat that goes to me, you, Minix, AJ, and Rob. It's like, what in the hell is going on with C.J. Stroud? He just looked like he just forgot how to play football, for goodness sake. It was unbelievably awful. But they got the W, and they got Mike Tomlin fired. Congratulations, Texan fan. You did it. Tomlin's gone. You move on to the second round. You've got a date with the Patriots in New England next Sunday, 2 o'clock. It's an afternoon game against the Patriots on Sunday. And right now the Patriots opened up as a 3-point favorite. That's what it stands right now. We'll see how that thing moves throughout the week, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I, quite frankly, think that the Patriots are favored because Vegas watched that game last night too and said, yeah, the defense is great. But it was 7-6 in the fourth quarter. As good as that defense played, it was still just 7-6 in the fourth quarter. So not sure exactly what CJ's got to do, but he's certainly got to do something. He's got to play better as the Texans move on throughout the playoffs. Let's talk a little Houston Texans win last night. We'll hear from D'Amico. We'll hear from CJ. We'll also hear from Aaron Rodgers on his future. Mike Tomlin talked about his future last night, but I think that's a moot point at this point in time because his future has been decided by Mike Tomlin. Hey, thank you for joining us here on the Blitz on this Tuesday afternoon. Lot to do, lot to talk about, and we want you to be a participant in today's show. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let me ask you a question. Is your roof ready for anything? Well, Stevens Roofing, a locally owned company, has been serving our community for decades. Whether it's a commercial project or residential, or repairing your old roof, or maybe installing a new one, they've got you covered. And now Stevens offers solar. Stevens Solar Solutions can save you money and energy. Stevens Roofing, quality craftsmanship, solar solutions, and local expertise under one roof. Call 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hump day on the Morning Huddle. We'll be in talking Spurs and Thunder. Who left happy?
The coaching carousel continues to turn. What's a Tomlin worth? Where does Harbaugh want to live? So many questions. We got the answers. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Boy, don't mind telling you, I love days like this. Sitting in the office, getting ready for the show, and then bam! Mike Tomlin steps down. A little breaking news this afternoon. If you haven't heard, Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has stepped down today. He was not fired. In fact, we're told that it became as a surprise to the Pittsburgh Steelers that he announced that he was going to step down. Art Rooney II, the Steelers president, did issue a statement shortly after that, and let me read it to you. It says, "During our meeting today, Coach Tomlin informed me that he has decided to step down as our head coach. Obviously, I am extremely grateful to Mike for all the hard work, dedication, and success we've shared over the last 19 years. It is hard for me to put into words the level of respect and appreciation I have for Coach Tomlin. He guided the franchise to our 6th Super Bowl championship and made the playoffs 13 times during his tenure, including winning the AFC North 8 times in his career. His track record of never having a losing season in 19 years will likely never be duplicated. I agree with that. My family and I and everyone connected to the Steelers management are forever grateful for the passion and dedication Mike Tomlin has devoted to Steelers football. And that comes from Art Rooney II, Steelers president. And look, all the accolades that you have for Mike Tomlin are appropriate. The guy is a winner. He's a leader of men. He's a class act. He's a great coach. And if he wants to coach again, he's going to coach again. Whether it's this year, next year, or whatever the case may be, he may want to step down and take a year off. Who would blame him for that? John Harbaugh looks like he doesn't want to go that route. He's going to take another job because he's already been interviewing for some. Mike Tomlin may just take a year off. I've heard that perhaps a television job could be in Mike Tomlin's future, at least for the interim until he's ready to get back into coaching. And whenever he is ready to get back into coaching, whether that is this year or next year or the year after that, he is going to be high in demand. There is no question about that. So, again, Mike Tomlin stepping down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 years. Again, you want to comment on that, you can certainly do that. We're getting a lot of comments on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page about that and about the way the Texans played last night offensively. The defense, you can't find a fault as far as I'm concerned. The defense was spectacular. They were outstanding. The Steelers offensively could do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And they just shut them down completely. But again, please tell me that you saw the same thing I did, that it looked like the crypt keeper playing quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for goodness sake. I mean, honestly.
I think he's a bum.
The guy just looked old. He was pissed off. He was just, get off my lawn. He's trying to take my job, for goodness sake. Stop it. He just looked bad. He looked extremely bad, but they couldn't do anything else. And did you notice in the game last night, and he did this, if you'll recall, back when he was with the Green Bay Packers. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. When Davante Adams first showed up in Green Bay as a rookie, Davante Adams couldn't catch the flu. It was incredible. He couldn't catch anything, and Rodgers would just boycotted the guy. He was pissed off. He boycotted him. He did the same thing to DK Metcalf last night. Did you notice that? DK dropped a pass early in the game, and I think it was until, midway through the third quarter before he got another one. I don't know. Holds grudges. And I guess, you send a message is one thing, but when you're in a playoff game, you need those guys, and you need your best wide receivers. So Aaron Rodgers, as far as I'm concerned, I hope he's done. I hope not only the Texans force Mike Tomlin to retire or step away, hopefully they've forced Aaron Rodgers to do the same thing, because I just don't want to see that guy play again like he played last night. It was absolutely horrible. Now, there were some problems last night for the Texans, and the one problem that could be a problem this week in New England is the fact that it does not appear, unless something miraculous happens, that Nico Collins will play in that game. He goes out with a concussion, has to leave the field on a stretcher, for goodness sake. That's a problem. And the fact that he'll be able to recover on a short week. They play Monday night. They play again on Sunday, so 6 days to recover. Going to be interesting. I hope he does, because I'd rather see the Texans at full strength, the Patriots at full strength, and let them go to battle and see what happens. But it does not look like Nico Collins will play. We'll continue to update you, though, certainly throughout the week on Collins and what he does and what the Texans have to say about him. Again, what can you say about the Houston Texans defense? All over Rodgers. The Steelers couldn't run the ball. I think they had 170 total yards of offense, and I don't know how they got that many, to be totally honest with you. That defense is spectacular. I don't think there's any question about it. And I will sit here and say that it to me, is the best defense in the National Football League. It's just too bad that they don't have an offense to go with that. Somebody asked me at the gym this morning, Pledge, they said, man, if we could only put the Cowboys offense, pair that with the Texans defense, we'd have a team that would pretty much be unstoppable.
You and Jason have been talking about that all year.
Well, right? I mean, it's just the way that the Cowboys played offense this year, and the way the Texans are playing defense, my goodness, I don't know if they'd be beatable, that team, putting them together. But that's always the challenge, right? For the Cowboys, you had the offense, no defense. For the Texans, you got a hell of a defense, and, well, the offense struggles. And last night, no exception. Again, 7-6 in the fourth quarter of that game before the defense pretty much stepped up and blew that game away. It was interesting to watch how they just put it in another gear. They really did. That defense I'm talking about. They just put it in another gear and just made it happen. D'Amico Ryans was asked about his defense after the game last night.
It was an outstanding defensive performance, one of the best that I've seen, especially versus a really talented offense, talented quarterback who's, played at a high level for a long time. So I'm proud of our defensive performance. I think this is the best performance we've had in our team history. So I'm proud of our guys for that, to limit the points, to take the football away, not only just take it away, but to go score. You get 2 defensive touchdowns, that's a big deal. It doesn't happen much, and so I'm proud of our guys.
And he should be proud of those guys. And again, that's got D'Amico's signature written all over it, that defense. And they've drafted well. I mean, let's face it. And they've played the free agent market well. So they've done a good job with all of that, and credit to the Houston Texans organization for putting that thing together. C.J. Stroud, as bad as he was last night, the defense, look, I think C.J. would tell you the same thing. The defense saved his behind. I mean, they did. And it wasn't all C.J. There was a bad snap. I know there was a snap at one point in time that C.J. wasn't ready for. I'm assuming that's the center's fault. I'll give it to the center and not to C.J. But it just looked like every play, C.J. was just, I don't know if he was confused. I don't know if it was just one of those nights that he was off. But there were passes that were not anywhere near people. He just looked sluggish. And I guess maybe that's the right word for it. Just sluggish in last night's game. And look, we all know C.J. Stroud's a good quarterback. Now, he hasn't played as well since his rookie year, but he's a good quarterback, and I think he'll rebound and be okay. And while the Patriots have a good defense, it's certainly, I would say it's probably on par with the Steelers, maybe, in the neighborhood there of the Steelers. So they're going to have their hands full, and I'm talking about CJ and the offense. You'll have your hands full. That defense is not bad. It's pretty good. And, of course, I'm being reminded on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page that the Patriots haven't played anybody. I guess that's true. It is. But, you can only play who's in front of you. That wasn't their choice, and they had a pretty good record after that. We'll see. We will see. That's going to be one of the better games, I think, in the playoffs. The divisional round coming up this weekend is the Texans and the Patriots. And, again, if you haven't heard, that will be on CBS, I believe, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So it would be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo would be my assumption. So there you go, fans of Romo. You get to hear him call your game on Sunday afternoon. That'll be a fantastic. Again, the Patriots come in, or they open up as a 3-point favorite in this thing. But CJ, as he should have done, praising the defense as well.
Yeah, I think, our defense has played like this all year. They've held us up, and, I think, this is one of the best performances I've ever seen. It's crazy to think in the last 3 wild card games I played in, they've always had a pick six and, like, some type of 2 turnover game, So, when you have a defense like that, it's really, really encouraging.
Absolutely, and it's got to make you feel good when you can make some mistakes and the defense will help you overcome them. I just think against a better offensive team, which the Patriots are, I don't care who they've played or what, they're a better offensive team than the Pittsburgh Steelers. You cannot turn the football over and give them short fields. And that's going to have to be a concern for the Texans coming in. Now, both Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin were asked about their futures last night. We all know what happened with Mike Tomlin. Last night, he basically said he wasn't in the mindset to discuss that. I saw Brooke Pryor on ESPN, who covers the Steelers for ESPN, and she said that answer from Tomlin last night was the first time she's ever heard him not say he was staying and he's a Pittsburgh guy and he's not going anywhere. So you kind of got a hint early on, I guess, maybe of what he was thinking and how that was going to happen. So he has stepped down. Aaron Rodgers, will he do the same thing? Well, he was asked about his future last night as well.
Just get away and then have the right conversations.
Did you enter tonight thinking it could be your final game?
I've answered this before. Every game could be my final game.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
I'll help you out with that sound effect. Just a surly old dude. He really is. Now, I know there's a lot of us, and that's what happens when you get older. You get a little surly. You're a little get off my lawn. But Aaron Rodgers last night was just pissed off at the world, or it seemed like he was pissed off at the world. Unbelievable. Ben Brasino's telling me that game's on ABC. Is that the Texans game? Is that what you've got, Pledge? I just assumed it was CBS, and I shouldn't do that. But if Ben is saying that, I probably looked it up, and he's going to know where to find it. ABC or CBS? Pledge is looking for it. He'll find it here in just a second. But because I know CBS, I don't think they don't have a game on Saturday.
ABC, ESPN.
So it is ABC. My apologies to everybody. Ben, thank you for the correction. It is on ABC. So
you know what? It's on San Antonio Sports Star. How about that?
It is. And as a matter of fact, all the games are on San Antonio Sports Star this weekend, by the way. Thanks to our friends from Flight by Yingling. We appreciate that. But every game, all four of them are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you can't be around a television this weekend, you can turn on the radio, and you can catch it right here. So it's going to be a lot of fun and another good game. How much optimism do you have, Texan fan? And I mean this in all sincerity. Now, defensively, I would assume you're over the moon. Offensively, I would assume you've got some butterflies, some nervousness about what you saw last night offensively. And again, that Pittsburgh defense is okay, but it hasn't been that good. And they shut down those guys, again, until the fourth quarter, until the defense took over the scoring responsibility, at least a couple of touchdowns-wise. CJ had that fumbled snap. And, again, I'm not sure that was his fault. It looked like it was snapped a little bit early, but he talked about that after the game.
You know, we had some problems with the snaps. He catching them, got to find a way just to catch him and then take care of the ball. We knew on tape that they did a good job of, punching at the ball or trying to, get you to, while you're throwing, get your throwing arm. So, I try to work on that throughout the week. But they make plays, and I think these games, the playoffs games, from my experience, like they're going to make plays, we're going to make plays. It's all about, moving forward and, trying your best to, flush it and keep going. So, I thought, when every time we had to bounce back, we made more plays. So, I'm proud of our guys for having a little bit of resilience in those moments. And, to finish the game like that was really dope.
Well, outstanding. And I don't know if you saw C.J. Stroud as he was walking out of the stadium last night. I guess he looked up into the stands and saw somebody that might have been giving him a hard time or heckling him a little bit. And he goes, something to the effect of, do you feel bad? Or do you, I don't know. He was trash talking the guy, and I thought it was pretty good. Obviously, he was happy. They win the game. They're moving on to the divisional round of the playoffs against the Patriots this coming up Sunday. By the way, Pledge has written that up there, and I didn't realize it was 5 fumbles from C.J. Stroud last night. He lost 2 of them. He also threw a pick. And so, again, you can't do that moving forward, and you're not going to win. I don't care how good your defense is. It's going to be very difficult to win. But my question to you is, how confident are you, Texan fan? Are you confident that they're going to go up to New England on Sunday afternoon and beat the Patriots? I'd like to hear from you on that. Several ways to do that. Our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Go there, like and subscribe the page. You can comment there. You can get me on Twitter at JoeReinagle210, or you can call us. Give us a phone call, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Tell us what you think. We also have a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. With the 9 head coaching openings in the NFL right now, which one is the best? We've listed 4 of them. Ravens, Steelers, Giants, Dolphins. Right now, with about 45 votes, and it's early, The Ravens are leading the way with 47%. The Giants in second place at 31%. Steelers at 13%. And the Dolphins way down there at 9%. It's going to be a fun weekend of playoff football. Maybe not as fun as the one we're just coming off of, because that was one for the ages. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the matchups. Let's talk about them. Plus, there's some other news and notes from the NFL I want to get into. And we'll do all of that when we return here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, make sure you get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. You know, it's January now. The cold weather is right around the corner. Rodeo is right around the corner. Sam's got all that cold weather gear on display right now in his showroom. Your logo on a nice jacket, a half zip, a hoodie, a beanie. Sam will get you taken care of. If you need caps done, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom. And he's got all the popular cap brands, the Katie caps, Nike, Cap America, the Richardson 112 style trucker caps in stock. Sam has all the big name brands, including a full line now of Tommy Bahama. He's got North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. Sam is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too big, no order too small. Call 210-824-3900 or get into that massive showroom on San Pedro, about a mile inside Loop 410, right there across from McDonald's. Or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade, Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need hair volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, hair volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume.
Since taking hair volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using hair volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday, with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Back here on the Blitz. Breaking news on this Tuesday afternoon. Mike Tomlin, no longer the head football coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has stepped down today. A surprise to everybody, according to Adam Schefter in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. But he has decided to call it a day. And after 19 years, by the way, which is crazy because if you look at that, and somebody on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page said they need to fire Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. Completely clean house in the NFC or the AFC North Division there. But Zach Taylor's the only one that survives. Stefanski with Cleveland gone, Tomlin gone, and John Harbaugh gone. Well, it's interesting that the owner of the Baltimore Ravens was talking, holding a press conference today when he got the news about Tomlin stepping down. Check this out.
Mike Tomlin stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike.
Yeah, good for Mike. Wouldn't that be cool if Harbaugh takes the Steelers job and Tomlin went over to Baltimore? I think that would be awesome. Now, those guys have been in their positions for so long, battling against each other, that I think it would be hard to change that allegiance. Would it not? I mean, my goodness, it would be unbelievable all of a sudden to be a Pittsburgh Steeler for John Harbaugh or a Baltimore Raven if you're Mike Tomlin. Now, Mike Garafalo, Pledge is showing me this, and it's a little out of my eye reach, but I'm going to try it. It says the Eagles have informed offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo that they are making a change at that position. So Patullo is gone, and I find that fascinating.
Hold on. Because the follow-up tweet, because this is quote tweeted.
Well, you read it because you've got it right there, Pledge.
The phrasing is important here in the Eagles statement. Kevin Patullo is not fired. There's a chance he could remain on Sirianni's coaching staff, sources say.
But doing something else.
Yes, he's been informed that they're making a change at the offensive coordinator position. They're not saying he's fired.
Interesting that you say that, though, because Jalen Hurts was asked about his offensive coordinator, and listen to the way he answers this thing.
It's too soon to think about that, and like I said, I put my trust in Howie, Nick, and Mr. Leary.
Yeah, so he doesn't really give a pat on the back or
ringing endorsement.
A ringing endorsement. That's what I'm looking for. So I think Patullo being out as offensive coordinator. And I said this yesterday with Minix, and it was like, dude, the guy has no imagination. The Philadelphia Eagle offense had absolutely zero imagination during that game against San Francisco the other day. It was just horrible, and they just didn't do anything. Now, A.J. Brown was a big part of that too because, well, he had butterfingers, but still, Patullo just nothing there. It was just boring, honestly. Just nothing to it. So him stepping down, I think, is a good thing, and we'll see what happens there with a new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. It sounds like that's going to happen. Now, the Eagles are out of the playoffs, obviously, so they've got some time to think about that stuff. Saturday, I'm looking at it here, and I appreciate Ben correcting me on that because CBS does have the Buffalo-Denver game on Saturday afternoon at 3:30, so which should be a pretty good football game. Buffalo's actually favored in that game by 1.5 as I look at it right now. The other game on Saturday is San Francisco at Seattle. The Seahawks are a 7.5-point favorite in that game, as they should be. I mean, they just played, 2-3 weeks ago, and Seattle's defense pretty much shut down Brock Purdy and company. So you would assume Seattle will win that thing, but I think San Francisco is one of those teams you can never really count out. And there are some coaching rumors going around. And I know we're talking about Tomlin. I know we're talking about John Harbaugh. We're talking about Kevin Stefanski. But if I'm a team who needs a change of culture, who needs a guy that's going to come in there and kick ass, I'm hiring Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh has been a magician this year with a defense for the 49ers that has been as banged up as anything I think I've ever seen. Robert Saleh did a hell of a job with the Jets. They just got impatient and fired him. And now look at them. They're not any better. In fact, they're worse for the wear. I think Robert Saleh is a guy that deserves a lot more consideration and is as underrated as anybody when it comes to these coaching searches. But he's going to get a job somewhere. And I think it should come from a team that needs a change of culture. I'd love to see him in Tennessee. I think that'd be awesome, just to kind of right the ship and straighten those guys out a little bit and give them a culture, give them something that they can identify with. That's what I want. So we'll see what happens and how all of this shakes out. I just with another marquee team opening up today in the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to wonder. And again, I'll say it. I said it at the top of the show. Watch out for Mike McCarthy. Watch out for Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh. I would assume he wants that job. He's a Pittsburgh dude. It's going to be interesting to see. You want to comment on anything we've talked about here today, please do so. I'd love to hear from you, whether you're on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, like and subscribe to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. You can comment there as well. You can get me on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210, or if you want to call in and do it the old-fashioned way, I'd love to hear from you. 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. In fact, Gary's done that. Gary wants to talk about Tomlin and Harbaugh switching positions. What do you think, Gary? Good idea?
Well, I was just telling my man, Pledge, didn't they have a movie about that? Wasn't it called Sleeping with the Enemy? I mean, and as far as the OC for the Eagles, I can see him coming into work on Monday and they're saying, okay, we need to talk to you. And he says, am I getting fired? He says, no, you're not getting fired, but that office that you had, don't go in there. Somebody else is using it. Hint.
I'm telling you.
Message.
Yeah, look, he was just dull, boring. It was not a good hire by Nick Sirianni, I don't think. But that's the way that it goes, and I'm happy the Eagles are out because not an Eagle fan. Sorry, Eagle fan. And not at all. And I was happy to see them lose to San Francisco. I'd love to see San Francisco go up to Seattle and win that game too. It's going to be difficult, though. Very difficult. Again, just going over the news and notes from the NFL, the Texans will play the Patriots at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. That game is on ESPN. And then we'll wrap things up with the Rams at the Bears. That game's on NBC Sunday night, and they'll kick that thing at 5:30. Okay, so it's not the normal Sunday night football game time. It will be at 5:30. The Rams and the Bears kind of put a cherry on top of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, which should be pretty good. I think the Buffalo-Denver game should be a good one. I'm not sure about San Francisco and Seattle just because banged up as San Francisco is, but they've been using wires and hooks and all kinds of stuff to keep that thing together and just getting it done. It's going to be very difficult, though, to go up to Seattle and knock off the Seahawks the way that they're playing. And as good as their defense is, that defense is pretty spectacular as well. couple of other firings today. The Chargers have fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. He's done. And the Ravens, we're talking about the Ravens and their coaching staff. They interviewed Brian Flores today for the head coaching job, not for the D.C. job, for the head coaching job. So, and if I'm not mistaken, it is Flores' first interview with anybody. So it's the first one that he's done. He did it with the Baltimore Ravens, and I could see that happening. Guy's a great defensive genius. Is he head coach material? That's the thing. I guess he needs an opportunity so we can find that out. I'm not sure. You think Patullo has a new job, Pledge? What is it?
And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at, like, the local McDonald's or something. I don't care.
Yeah. That was a kid yesterday that we played for you after the game against San Francisco, and the kid was very upset. Got tickets for his birthday, and he comes, and he wasn't happy with A.J. Brown, told A.J. Brown to pack a bag and go, even though he loves him. And then he said Patullo ought to be flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Well, he says offense is like that. It's just they're not flipping. It's cooking on one side in
Raw
one
on the
half
other.
and then raw on the other.
Unbelievable. And he's right. Kid is a future sports talk show host. Just don't do it anytime soon, son. All right? I need the job for a little while longer. Don't want you to take my job just yet. The Cowboys have some more interviews today. The big interview for them today is Jonathan Gannon, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, coming into Dallas today to interview for the D.C. job. I don't know if Gannon is a legitimate D.C. for the Dallas Cowboys, perhaps. I think it's hard for those guys to go from being a head coach back to a coordinator, although some of them have to do it. And it just is another stepping stone to get you to where you need to be. I was talking today to all my buddies at the gym, because we're talking a lot of football, and they always want to talk and kind of hear what I have to say. I want to hear what they have to say as well. But we're talking about the candidates that have come in to interview for the Cowboys defensive coordinator position. And when you look at the age of these guys, all of them in their 40s, either early 40s or mid 40s, all of them really no name guys. Rich Gannon is going to be the first name that I think anybody would know of if you're just a fan of the team or a fan of football. I think what that tells me is that Brian Schottenheimer has got a lot more control of this particular hiring than is normal for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. It's incredible because I don't think this is not Jerry-like. And we've talked about this before, but Jerry likes people that he knows. He doesn't like to bring in people that he doesn't know, especially for high-profile jobs like a coordinator position. And so it's interesting. Now, they did interview White Cotton, who's been on the staff, so Jerry does know him. And if he gets the job, maybe Jerry had something to do with that, and they're high on the guy. Not sure, but I think Shotty has a little more say-so in this particular hire. And if that is the case, if I'm right about that, I applaud Jerry Jones. And I do that because, and I know everybody, well, you always applaud Jerry Jones. Well, most of the time I do. But I applaud him this time simply because he knows that he needs to let Shotty make that hire. They've got to work together. He needs a guy that he trusts. And I'm talking about Schottenheimer. And I think, look, Brian Schottenheimer's worked for a lot of different NFL teams in different positions. So he knows a lot of people around the league. He's got a lot of contacts around the league, and he knows exactly what people are saying about certain individuals. And I think the guys that have come in to hire to interview for this job are just that. They're guys that are going to get their first opportunity if they're hired as the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that's important. I honestly do. And I think it's important for Brian Schottenheimer to do that. Look, if you're going to go down, and Shotty, I don't think had a choice with Matt Eberflus. Jerry can say all he wants that, yeah, it was a team decision on this thing, and that's just BS in my mind. It's not. Jerry just doesn't usually work that way. Eberflus. Yeah. It didn't work out, but you're the head coach. And if you're having to, and you're looking over at Eberflus every day, and the defense stinks.
Eberflus.
I mean, and you had nothing to do with that hire. You're going, dude, what do I got to do? It was the same with Mike McCarthy his final year. When Mike Zimmer comes in, that wasn't a McCarthy hire. McCarthy was a lame duck. That wasn't a McCarthy. That was a Jerry Jones hire. So I think it's encouraging to me to see the names that have been floated around and that have been brought in for interviews for the Dallas Cowboys. And I really think that Shoddy has a lot more say-so. Now, will he have the final say-so? Who knows?
I have all the authority in the world.
And he does, and I think Jerry will have the final say, but I think Shoddy's input is going to have a lot to do with that this time. I really believe that. And maybe, just maybe, Cowboy fan, Jerry's changing a little bit as he gets older, and he realizes the clock is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. And he says, you know what? I maybe I ought to do it a little bit different way. Maybe.
Stop it.
Because, before I get 6 feet under, I'd like to have another ring, another parade here in Frisco.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
And I think he would. I really do. Because, look, Jerry's got all the money he's ever going to need, his family's ever going to need. That doesn't mean he's going to stop making it because he's always going to make money. That's just how he's wired. But I think he really wants that ring. I think he is as sick as Cowboy fans are of hearing it's been 30 years since the last one. He's sick of that too. I think the whole family is sick of that stuff. It's just nuts. But I'm encouraged by what I'm hearing and who they're bringing in, and it just sounds like it's more Shoddy this time around than it is Jerry Jones. I could be dead wrong. But this is certainly different than what Jerry Jones typically does. It just is. And so, new guys, new to the Cowboys, all of that kind of stuff, I just think it is, this is more Shoddy than anything else.
Candy Lee.
Well, maybe she'd be a hell of a defensive coordinator, Candy Lee. She's fought off Jerry for many years. So, goodness gracious. What do you guys
think? He's always top of mind on his.
Absolutely. Well, you never know, Pledge. Don't knock it till you try it. It's one of those things that you got to worry about. Always value your opinion. There's a lot of people, a lot of comments on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. If you haven't been there, you haven't had an opportunity to go there, you should go there. It's a great community in there. They always have conversations amongst themselves and all of that. And they're making fun of me, Pledge, because, I mentioned the gym and I mentioned talking football. And it's like all Joe does is go in there and talk. It doesn't actually work out.
I mean, we've known that.
Well, maybe that's true to some extent, or I'm just taking a hell of a long break. One of the two.
You and Ray.
Me and Ray and my brother, and there's other people in there, want to talk football. And obviously there were a couple of Texan fans in there, believe it or not, that were very happy today, and I had to burst their bubble and, let them know that C.J. Stroud sucks. And so, it's just kind of what I do. I piss people off. This is what I do, and I'm pretty good at it.
You? No.
I love you guys. Comment on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Like and subscribe said page. And I see Alexandra's on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. And Alexandra, you're kind of dropping the ball a little bit. Alexandra would always come in first thing and say, hit the thumbs up button.
She already did that.
She did.
She did.
I missed it.
She said, smash that thumbs up button for Joe and Pledge.
Well, I didn't see that, Alexandra. My apologies to you. Wow. Okay. We do have a poll on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, as you can go there and vote. Which NFL head coach opening is the best right now in the NFL? Now, we can only have 4 choices, and Pledge said that he could have put the Falcons instead of the Dolphins, but I'm okay with that.
Quality of life.
Yeah, Ravens are leading the way head and shoulders, and I wonder why. Is that because of Lamar Jackson?
Absolutely.
I guess it is.
Would you rather have Tua/Ewers? Would you rather have Lamar Jackson? Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph? Or would you – I
don't think they're going to have Aaron Rodgers. I think we're going to find out either later today or sometime this week that Rodgers is going to retire.
I'm guessing, because I'm not looking at the poll. The Ravens are winning. I'm guessing the Giants are in second.
Correct.
They're followed probably by the Steelers than the Dolphins.
That's exactly right. And the Dolphins are I mean, they're like you in our prime picks place. They're way back. Way back.
It's early. It's early.
Yeah, it's early. It's over. Dolphins only at 7%. But, yeah, you're right about the Ravens. And I guess that's Lamar Jackson. The only thing I worry about with the Ravens and Lamar is how they're going to structure his contract, because as it sits right now, and I'm sure they'll redo something or they'll figure something out where it's not such a cap hit, it's upwards of $75 million cap hit this year.
Dak 65 is looking pretty nice. Huh?
Well, it's a little bit better than that, yeah. Jeez, I forgot about that. Talk about bursting a bubble. Holy cow. Here comes old Dak Prescott. He didn't even throw an interception this weekend, and he's still
Here we go.
He's still pissing me off. I love you, Dak. By the way, all of the games are on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 this weekend. Thanks to our friends from Flight by Yingling. We appreciate them. So if you can't be around a TV at some point in time this weekend, you can certainly tune it in here at 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We'll get you started. You can hear them all right here. So we got you covered if you can't be around a TV or you got to work or whatever the case may be this weekend. Flight by Yingling is making it, available to you to listen to all of those games. When we come back, I didn't know there were still massage parlors in San Antonio that provide happy endings.
Unplug it, maybe.
Well, I know that there is because I didn't go to one, but some lady got arrested right here in the great city of San Antonio. We'll tell you all about it. Give me another unplug it, Blades. Come on.
Unplug it, maybe.
My favorite drop of all time. We're talking massage parlors and happy endings when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com.
If you know me, you listen to this show enough, you know the Rue Pub is my go-to spot there at 281 in Redland Road. No better place to go watch any big game, any big fight, because they have those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. And when you get into the Rue Pub, go hungry. The food, fantastic. They have the biggest and best wings in town. I love their fried shrimp. About 15 different burgers on the menu. Their hot dogs, their salads, their appetizers. And don't forget steak night every Wednesday night at the Rue Pub. Plus, they've got a great kitchen that is open late every day with the full menu available. So when you need a late night meal, don't go to a drive-thru. Get into the Rue Pub there at 281 and Redland Road. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Rue Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X, outsmart the elements.
Okay, so your trophy's in the cabinet. Business is great. The growing pains are all in the past, and you're feeling optimistic. Now you're in big trouble. Because truth is, no matter how well you slayed your last quarter, the next one could slay you right back. And without a cohesive strategy and a scalable idea you can rely on, nothing is certain except uncertainty. Which is why for your next rodeo, you need the Next Rodeo. The Next Rodeo is a true creative partner that brings next-level creative thinking and production quality to companies who didn't believe they could afford it. So you can keep your company growing without outgrowing the dream that started it. The Next Rodeo. The difference between the business you have and the business you want is one great scalable idea. Get the full story at thenextrodeo.com.
Progressive Commercial presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going.
Today's hero? Your favorite sassy diner server. Sure, her eyes might say, I don't have all day. But deep down, you know that extra pancake on your plate says, I dislike you less than most people. Thanks, hero. What else can keep truckers going? Progressive Truck Insurance with primary liability limits up to $2 million. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to terms and limits.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, it is breaking this afternoon. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin stepping down as head coach after 19 years in Pittsburgh. Steelers will now look for their only 4th head coach since 1969. My goodness. Cowboys continue their defensive coordinator search this week. They're looking internally, interviewing defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton, but also have interviews set today with Baltimore defensive coordinator Zach Orr and Arizona head coach Jonathan Gannon.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On a Tuesday, Breaking News Tuesday. That's what we're calling it today. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off. He'll be back with us tomorrow, but a lot of breaking news and a lot of stuff to get into today, including the big story of the day. Mike Tomlin stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 years. And a little bit of a twist to that story, which just came out, the Steelers, since they didn't fire him, are able to keep his rights. So what that means is if Tomlin gets another job or wants another job, the Steelers can say no or they can trade. So that's pretty smart of the Pittsburgh Steelers to retain his rights. So he can't just walk over to Baltimore or Atlanta or Miami or whatever and take a job there. He's got to answer to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And pretty smart of them to do that because they know Tomlin's going to be in demand. And that kind of tells me, I'll be honest with you, that Mike Tomlin just might take the year off. That he might go do something in TV. Maybe he just takes a sabbatical and doesn't do anything and just kind of hangs out with family and friends. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see. And you got to figure that the Pittsburgh Steelers could play ball with Mike Tomlin. But if, just speculating, say he did want to go to the Baltimore Ravens, I would imagine the price tag would be pretty damn high. They're not going to let him go over there. Are you kidding me? It's just not going to happen. We heard from the Baltimore Ravens owner a few minutes ago in returns because he just heard the news that Mike Tomlin had stepped away there. But he was also talking about Lamar Jackson, and he said they are working on an extension for him. And they want to keep him in-house, obviously. It says they want to get a deal done before free agency in March. Of course, he's got to go directly to Lamar because Lamar does not have an agent. He says the preference is, however, the same 5-year deal as last time, of course, with a higher average value. So probably what that tells you is that Dak Prescott, being the highest paid quarterback or highest paid player in the NFL, will probably come to an end in March. I would assume that Lamar Jackson will replace him with that title, but it remains to be seen. But the owner made it very clear they want Lamar Jackson back, and they want to get a new deal done for him, another 5-year deal with one Lamar Jackson. Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
You know, a lot of stuff going on non-sports-wise, and I told you about a massage parlor here in San Antonio. I'll get to that in just a moment.
Unplug it, maybe.
She was arrested for just trying to give somebody a happy ending. You know, I mean, just trying to make somebody's day, trying to make somebody happy, and you get arrested for it. So, unbelievable. But there is a story coming out of St. Louis, of all places, St. Louis, Missouri, where there are several unpredictable and aggressive monkeys on the loose. And here's the kicker to that thing. As of now, nobody knows where the hell they came from. They're just roaming around St. Louis, wherever. They've been doing that since Thursday. And the officials there are telling people not to mess with them because they don't know. They're exotic animals, and they say they could be unpredictable or aggressive under stress. Now, these are those little, they're not like chimpanzees. They're like the little, I don't know, what do you call them, spider monkeys? Whatever the hell you call them, but they look cute. Right, so I could see, oh, come here, little monkey, and let's, I'm going to pet you or feed you or whatever the case may be. And they're saying don't do that because they could be aggressive and they might bite you. So stay away from them. But how weird is that? Monkeys, at least 4 of them, out and about, roaming around the city of St. Louis, and, well, nobody knows how the hell they got there. And what's funny, when I'm reading this article today, I looked down, and I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about a zebra running loose in Tennessee not too long ago here on this program. Of course, they bring that up again. So animals are on the loose, man. They're running wild. They're going crazy. So if you're in St. Louis, and I've got family there, beware of the monkeys that have escaped and are on the loose. Here's an interesting story that, I found it interesting anyway. There is a girl who apparently is getting a lot of, and the guy is too. A former teacher is marrying a former student. This dude's about 40 years older than she is. She's a grown adult now, but this guy was her teacher, I guess, in high school or elementary or one of those schools. She's 22 years old right now, so I'm assuming it was high school. Maybe I don't know if they were messing around or what. But the guy's 60 years old, and people are giving her a hard time. They're showing pictures of her, and I'm wondering why. Isn't that kind of like standard? Okay, now that Bill Belichick's dating a baby. I mean, I don't know. I would think that would be okay. A 60-year-old dude and a 22-year-old sounds pretty normal compared to Bill Belichick at 70-something and his girlfriend at 24. So I'm not sure why that is, but according to the story, they're getting a lot of hate for this. Now, I don't know if they were messing around in high school or whatever, but she's an influencer. She's pretty shiny, and he's an old dude. So I mean, but hey, the heart wants what it wants. You know what I mean? The heart wants what it wants, and if they want to do this, leave them alone. I just think it's kind of the thing now. It seems to be with Bill Belichick setting the tone, and now this school teacher and his former student getting together. So I don't know, but it's okay. She's a grown adult, for goodness sake. Let her do what she wants to do. It's not going to hurt anybody. I don't know. I want to go back though about 5-6 years in class, and what the hell was going on there? I'm not accusing anybody of anything before you get upset. I'm not, but I'm just saying that seems kind of weird. that they might have been giving each other goo-goo eyes and stuff in class, and maybe he gave her a better grade for a wink. Who knows? I just find that kind of weird. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm not sure why, but interesting.
You're crazy.
Yeah, well, I've been called worse, Pledge. That's for sure. There is also a story that involves right here in San Antonio, right here. Kind of crazy. A woman, the headline reads, learns a license is needed to practice massage therapy in San Antonio. Oh, and happy endings are not allowed. She was arrested. Now, this massage parlor, and it does. I'm not clear as to what side of town this is on. I'm not sure. If you've heard of it, or you saw the arrest, or you saw it on the news, or whatever the case may be.
What's the name of it?
Then let me know. I don't know the name of it at this point. I'm trying to find the story, Pledge, basically, and I can't find the damn thing.
I was about to say, this story has very little details.
Well, I did. Well, maybe that's on purpose, Pledge. Maybe I know exactly where it is. You know what I'm saying? I kid.
Joe don't want to share.
I kid. I'm not doing that. But I got to find out exactly where this is. Dadgummit, I thought I had it right there. Here we go. San Antonio massage parlor bust. See if this gives us any more information. Now, KSAT has reported on this, and they've got it on YouTube. I don't know if she's blonde or what she is, but this happened.
Thicker than train smoke.
No, she's actually not thick. It doesn't appear to be, at least from her mugshot. But apparently, it wasn't just happy endings they were giving, in the sense that you might think. It was a prostitution place. Multiple San Antonio massage parlors, in fact, have been shut down recently, following investigations into prostitution, unlicensed activities. And that kind of stuff. Who knew? I mean, honestly. Now, I'm old, Pledge, you're probably too young to remember this. But I remember.
Perverts in the Park?
Well, yeah, Perverts in the Park. Do you remember that?
I remember it.
Well, yeah, but I think that was all voluntary. I'm not sure there was any prostitution going on. Maybe. I don't know. But out on Interstate 10, way back in the day between here and Seguin, there used to be an area, I want to say about a quarter mile long, of nothing but little trailers. And they were all massage parlors. And I'm not kidding. It's absolutely true. And I'm assuming it was for the truckers. Although on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, Miguel's saying you just got to go to a truck stop and you're fine. They'll come to you. But there used to be. I mean, there were like several of them right there. And what I was told, you go inside and you could pretty much do whatever the hell you wanted to do if you had the money to do it. So I guess that's still going on. I mean, hell, Robert Kraft did that in Boston, right? I mean, he found a happy ending place. But I don't know. Are you like me when you see a story like this about San Antonio, and you say it's kind of weird that that's going on right here? And look, I'm not naive. I know there's stuff that happens in San Antonio.
You sound naive.
Well, maybe I do, but I was really surprised because I saw that headline and I'm like, wait, San Antonio? Really? Wow. But it happened.
We're no better than anyone else.
Well, I didn't say I think we are. However, just saying there are some goofballs around. But like, girls just trying to make some money. I mean, right? Pay a few bills. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Am I the only one thinking? So when I read that headline to you, Pledge, it doesn't like, oh, San Antonio.
I'm just more shocked that prostitution is still a thing when OnlyFans exists.
Well, and you know, there's the debate, but here we try to get sports gambling legalized in the state of Texas. You think they're going to?
Oh, that's the devil. We can't.
You think they're going to legalize prostitution or pot or anything else?
Pot.
What would you call it? Marijuana? Smoke? The devil's lettuce? All of those things. Oh, my goodness. I am naive. I'm an old, naive dude. What can I say? I can't help it. And But it does surprise me, and I'm not sure why, but it does when I see a headline that San Antonio, there's a bust for prostitution. So here's the other thing. Now, I guess two things can be true, but, I mean, she had to be licensed. So I guess you can just go to and be a licensed masseuse. But you still can't be licensed to go any further. You can give a massage, but that's where it's got to stop. So she's in trouble for not having a license. I don't know. What the hell's going on in this world?
I mean, do you need a license to go further?
Yeah, exactly. And if prostitution were legal, think about it, you would have a license. Right? I mean, you'd have to be licensed. Now, I don't know. Would you have to take a test?
I mean, porn stars aren't licensed, are they?
I don't know. But I wonder if is there a city in this country there's prostitution legal?
In Vegas?
Okay. Now, I wonder, do you just go into the DMV and get a license for that? Say, hey, I want to be a prostitute. I need a license for that. Do you have to take a test? Dude behind the counter goes, woo! Yes, sir, honey. Step right this way.
It's an oral exam.
Wow, Pledge. I didn't go that far.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, well, inquiring minds want to know. Unbelievable. How about those Spurs, huh? Oh, can they make it 4 straight against the Oklahoma City Thunder? They have a game in OKC tonight against the Thunders. We're talking about that. And is there a move you need to make before the trade deadline? I found it interesting. There's a story about some possible trade ideas. One in particular for the San Antonio Spurs. We're talking about it. We continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Chick-fil-A's new frosted sodas and floats, it's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice stream to make a new frosted soda or float. With the mix of the ice stream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's Pork Rinds Appreciation Day at PorkRinds.com. Hall of Famer Devin Hester and PorkRinds.com are lining up to be heroes for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. Pork Rinds are the MVP of the snack aisle. Low carb, gluten-free, and packed with protein to keep your energy high. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Visit PorkRinds.com to enter for a chance to win a 2027 Big Game Travel Package and a year's supply of rinds. Support a great cause and find your favorite rinds at PorkRinds.com. Pork Rind Appreciation Day, the crunchiest day in football.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656-PURE. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
License number 38961.
Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night-harvested tequila. This is tequila at its natural, unfiltered best, made with 100% blue agave and totally additive-free. Smooth, vibrant, and full of character. It's tequila the way it was meant to be. So whether you're chasing championships or celebrating the moment, raise your glass to bold beginnings. and taste the Blue Star difference.
Find Blue Star Tequila near you at Specs, Costco, and Alamo City Liquor.
It's a new year, and Aleve is here to help you keep your New Year's resolutions on track. Whether it's a daily walk, hitting the gym, or spending more time with friends and family, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you moving with long-lasting body pain relief so you can chase those dreams and achieve your goals. Don't let body pain slow you down. Keep going with Aleve, because this year is your year. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Oh, like roadside assistance.
Oh yeah, Progressive offers that.
Great. Do you have plans Saturday? My cousin canceled and I'd love to have someone to ride with.
Actually, we just do insurance, not riding buddies.
Cool, let's meet at noon. Actually, scratch that. 10 a.m., you and me, breakfast at a diner.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
Okay, so if you beat me there, get me the Lumberjack Special. We can share.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Back here on the Blitz on a Tuesday afternoon. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Thank you for stopping by, spending some time with us. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix has the day off. James Pledger is here, however, pushing the buttons, playing the music. Appreciate that. Spurs in action tonight in Oklahoma City, a team that they've owned this year, which is pretty amazing considering the Oklahoma City Thunder. What were they, 20-1 at one point in time, something ridiculous like that?
They've fallen off a little bit.
They have, and I think the Spurs started that fall off a little bit, beating them 3 times in a row, which is pretty incredible. They play again tonight for the 4th time. Can the Spurs make it 4 in a row? It's going to be interesting to see because I have to believe that Oklahoma City, I guess, could go one of two ways on this thing. Are they going to be fired up? Are they going to be loose, ready to play and to get this one? They certainly don't want to lose to the Spurs again. I mean, I wouldn't think. Obviously, you don't ever want to lose. I know, obviously, but you certainly don't want to lose to the Spurs again.
Well, not just that, but look at their upcoming schedule. They go on a little road trip here after they get the Spurs at home for the last time. They go on to play the Rockets, Heat, and Cavs and Bucks all on the road over the next 4 games after the Spurs.
Well, you talk about nobody giving them the Spurs any respect tonight. Vegas certainly is, and I'm looking at the lines for this game. The Thunder are a 9-point favorite. After being beat 3 in a row, after beating the Thunder 3 in a row, and maybe Vegas is thinking the same thing kind of that I am, that there's no way Oklahoma City's going to allow that. I just don't think the Spurs are a good matchup for Oklahoma City. I think just the way the pieces are, the way things go. Obviously, Wemby's not a good matchup for anybody. But having said that, I just don't think Oklahoma City matches up well with San Antonio.
You feel better about this or home dogs on Monday night?
I lost.
Which
one,
gut
right?
feeling was?
Yeah. Yeah. I deserve that pledge. That's fine.
Uncle Joe's 100% lock advice.
Well, it's never 100% pledge. I mean, 99.9. You lose every now and then. And it obviously did last night, although C.J. Stroud was on my side. That's for sure.
He was trying for
He was
you.
on my side, man. I'm telling you he was. But it just didn't happen. We'll talk more Houston Texans. But I wonder, 9-point favorite tonight.
That is a lot.
Isn't it, though? I mean, for any game, much less, I mean,
a team that's dominated
a team that's dominated you, beat you 3 times in a row, but Vegas having no problem. So Well, it only tells me that a lot of people are thinking that way, that there's no way Oklahoma City's going to lose tonight. They're going to come in. They're going to want this game. They're going to be fired up. They're going to do everything they can to win it. And obviously that's the way that it goes. So no Devin Vassell tonight. He's going to miss another game with that adductor strain. Wemby is good to go, and everybody else is good to go. So Gilbert on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page is telling me that the Thunder are 9-6 since that cup loss to San Antonio. So
Spurs showed them they were mortal.
Well, apparently they showed the rest of the league that they're mortal. Yeah, that's for sure. And because I don't think anybody thought that going the way the season started for Oklahoma City, they looked like they were going to run away with the Western Conference and be the number 1 seed right away and go back and take this thing again. But
looked like they were going to wrap that thing up by the All-Star break.
Exactly right. And so the Spurs kind of knocked them down a peg. But I'm really shocked that 9-point favorite. I might have to do something on that, Pledge. I mean, God, I'll take the 9 points right now. Wouldn't you?
Because as much as like how much the Thunder probably want this game to kind of reestablish themselves and prove to themselves and are getting up for it because of losing 3 times in a row. Think about ever since Wemby's come into the league, him versus Chet and this has kind of developed into a bit of a rivalry in a sense. And I think the Spurs get up to play Oklahoma City because of all of the different narratives involved in it, whether it was Wemby versus second-year Chet for Rookie of the Year or Oklahoma City taking the big leap that they took a year ago versus the Spurs seemingly taking a leap this year. Like, all of these things are coming together, and I just think it's brewing into one of the better rivalries in all of basketball.
It's funny that you say that because I'm on ESPN right now, and there's an article by Michael C. Wright and Tim McMahon talking about the budding Spurs-Thunder rivalry that could shape the future of the West. I haven't had a chance to read this thing yet, but obviously there was a natural rival between Wemby and Chet Holmgren. 2 big guys, although I never looked at Chet Holmgren as a guy that I thought was going to take over the league. Not the way I look at Wemby as a guy that could take over the league. Chet Holmgren's a good player, but I just don't look at him in the same category as a Victor Wembanyama. I just don't. Other than they're both tall. I mean, that's about the only thing they have in common. Wemby can do so much more than Chet Holmgren could ever think about doing. So if that's part of it, then that's part of it. But I think that's what started this thing. I just think that in order to be a rivalry, I think, one team has to win a game or two. And right now, Oklahoma City hasn't done that. I think the Spurs have simply owned them this year. However, the Spurs have got some players that are struggling a little bit. And both of their young guys, Steph Castle and Dylan Harper, both struggling a little bit right now. And we talked about it yesterday with those guys kind of going into the middle of the season, kind of the dog days of the NBA season as we approach the midway point of the season, get closer to the All-Star break. And I think that's natural, especially for a Harper. Now, Castle went through it last year, but still, it's a big change. And when you're playing every night, every other night, sometimes every night, it's difficult to keep your body ready to go. But it's going to be an interesting game. And I think, one of those games, I tell you what.
The team itself, the entire team has struggled from behind the arc in recent weeks.
Absolutely.
Champagny, Barnes, even the ones that are supposed to be your snipers have struggled. It's just been team-wide epidemic from behind the three-point stripe for this entire team, which is why I think we keep bringing up as the trade deadline gets closer and we are now less than a month away from it, do they make a move to go get a 3-and-D wing or a sniper of some sort?
I just don't know who that would be. And that's going to be key. How high do you shoot when it comes to that? You've got Julian Champagny, and if he was just a little more consistent, that would kind of solve that problem. He just hasn't been consistent. There'll be nights he'll go out and he'll light it up, and then nights where he can't hit the ocean. And so that's part of the problem. But where do you go and who do you go? We're going to have to do a deep dive on this, Pledge, at some point in time. maybe this week or as we get closer to the trade deadline.
I know the first call I'm making.
To who?
Pelicans. I see if either Trey Murphy or Herb Jones is available.
And, Trey Murphy's an interesting name because he was mentioned for the Spurs in the offseason. And so if they were interested in him then, what would the Pelicans want in return? You got to figure Jeremy Sohan is a part of anything. Who needs a Jeremy Sohan? That's going to be one thing that you're going to have to ask the question, and then and look for a team that would. So, I don't know. And obviously there could be others involved in something like that, or would you? Is there draft capital going that way? I guess it all depends on who it is and how much the other team wants. But the Pelicans would be a good place to start. But I think that's the only thing this team is lacking at this point in time is a consistent guy that can go out there and command respect. I know Champagnie sometimes, but look, if I'm a coach of Oklahoma City or Utah or Portland or anybody else, I'm not all that concerned about Julian Champagnie. I'm concerned about the big fella. I'm concerned about Keldon Johnson, the way he's playing. I'm concerned about Steph Castle, but I'm not sure I'm concerned about Champagnie. Now, that may bite you in the butt on a game when you're not concerned about him, but I think I'd take my chances.
But would it bite you in the butt in 4 of 7?
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I think I would roll the dice and not worry too much about him. And if he starts hitting, then you adjust. But I'm not concerned about him at all, to be honest with you. So hopefully he develops into that. Maybe the Spurs know or think that they've got that guy here already, that they can develop into that shooter that they need. But it's going to be interesting. Anthony Davis, this is an interesting story, and I'll tell you why. There is a story out that says Anthony Davis is going to undergo hand surgery and going to be out for several months. And you're going, okay, well, the sky is blue, water is wet. Anthony Davis is hurt. It's kind of the way that it is. But Anthony Davis sent out a weird text basically saying don't trust those apps or something. I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically don't trust what you're hearing. Now, I don't know if it's because of the hand surgery. He either is or he isn't going to have it, or the rumors that the Mavericks are still trying to trade him away.
So the tweet from Anthony Davis, which, funny enough, is on an app that he's tweeting this out. Y'all better stop listening to all these lies on these apps.
All these lies on these apps. Well, I wish he would have, indulged a little more, said, the hand thing is not true. I'm not going to have hand surgery. I'm not going to be out for 2 months. These trade rumors are all BS. I wish they'd give us a little more info, because all we can do now is speculate. You speculate. Well, maybe it's not hand surgery. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not that bad. He doesn't require surgery. But you have to kind of go with Anthony Davis as being hurt because, well, he always is. I'm trying to look at a story here. According to Hoops Hype and some of these other websites, they're saying that it does regard the hand surgery. It says Anthony Davis seems to deny he's going to have surgery on his hand and be out for months. Look, that was Shams Charania who reported that. So I think we all can listen to Shams Charania and say he's right most of the time, if not most all of the time. But again, I wish Anthony Davis would indulge us a little bit because, well, he's not doing that. And, well, it kind of irritates me. You know what I mean? So you just have to speculate. But the guy's hurt. Obviously, he's going to miss some time. He's out again. And I know injuries happen. I know they do. And I know, sometimes you can have – it just seems like some guys are just more unlucky than others. And Anthony Davis is one of those guys. And it's just sad because he's a hell of a ball player. And it's just sad that we don't get to see him play. So, I don't know. But big game tonight. By the way, that game, I guess it's on FanDuel as well, but it's also on NBC and Peacock. So it's one of the big games tonight for NBC. So I guess you can choose how you want to watch that. I always like Sean Elliott personally, but I guess you can pick and choose how you want. If you don't get FanDuel like I don't on YouTube TV, I'll watch it on Peacock or NBC. So going to be interesting. 7 o'clock tip from Oklahoma City. Hopefully the Spurs can get it done again. Why not keep that doubt in the minds of the Oklahoma City Thunder? I would hope that they would be able to do that. Dallas Cowboys got a favor. We talked about this yesterday. The Green Bay Packers losing to the Chicago Bears on Saturday night helped the Dallas Cowboys get that 20th overall pick. They've got the 12th and the 20th. Now, what do they do with them? We've got some players that seem to make sense, and, well, one of the Cowboys' defensive linemen's in a little bit of trouble with the law. We're talking about that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First of all, I got to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Good family-owned company, great people, local company, a company that's been in business since 1983. I could just stop right there, I think, with the reputation of Stevens Roofing because, 1983 is a long time to be in business. And you don't stay in business if you're not doing it right. Obviously, they are doing it right. They are a quality company that stands behind their work. And now they've added solar to what they do. If you've been thinking about solar panels on your house, and I know a lot of people are these days, but if you've been thinking about it, why not go to a company that you know has a stellar reputation for doing the job right? Stevens Roofing and Solar is that company. 210-785-0994. Call them. Tell them what you're thinking about and how you want to do this. And they'll send somebody out. They'll put a plan together, and you know they will take care of it and get it done right. Now's the perfect time if you're thinking about doing that before the hot summer months where you can really take advantage of those things. If you think you got a problem with your roof, Stevens Roofing and Solar, you need to give them a call. They'll send a crew out to your house. They will check your roof. They'll do it for free, and they'll let you know if there's any problems up there or if everything is A-OK. Either way, you know you can trust the fine folks at Stevens Roofing. 210-785-0994, or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hump day on the Morning Huddle. We'll be in talking Spurs and Thunder. Who left happy?
The coaching carousel continues to turn. What's a Tomlin worth? Where does Harbaugh want to live? So many questions. We got the answers. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226.
The football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. You can make picks and win money right now here in Texas, and it is so easy. You pick your favorite players. Are they going to go higher or lower on their stats? Touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, whatever. You get it right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And I think there's some great opportunities right now because we know some of these teams really care. Some of these teams really don't care. So some of these star players, you expect maybe they'll go out and play a couple snaps and be done for the day. Maybe look at some lowers on them. Maybe take some hires on some of the backup guys you think will get some run. Either way, there's always plenty of action to be had on Underdog. What are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code ALAMO. You'll get $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code ALAMO. Underdog. Make picks and win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Now that's good music, Pledge. Finally, you're learning. You get Minix out of here and you see the music is great.
Just got to go backwards a couple of decades.
This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinigle. Jason Minix does have the day off. James Pledger is playing the music. We're having a little fun today, no doubt. But I do want to remind you to make plans to join us Monday, all right, this Monday, because the Blitz is going to be live for the national championship game between Indiana and Miami out at the Roo Pub. Of course, there's no better place to watch big events than the Roo Pub. 3 massive TVs over the bar, games on everywhere you look. There's TVs all over that place, and the food is fantastic. Be sure and join Jason and I. The Blitz will broadcast live from the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road for the national championship game. That will take place on Monday. And I know a lot of you are probably going to have that day off anyway. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So if you do have the day off, come out with us. Watch the show. 2 to 6, we'll be broadcasting there at the Roo Pub. And have lunch, have dinner, have all of it there out at the Roo Pub. Come join us. We've been talking a lot. And, of course, the big news today is Mike Tomlin stepping down as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 seasons at the helm of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So just crazy with him and John Harbaugh leaving the Baltimore Ravens. We've got a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Which NFL opening is the best available? We got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Giants, the Dolphins. Right now, the Ravens are running away with it, 51%. Giants in second place at 25%. You got the Steelers at 16%, and then the lowly Dolphins at 8%. And, you know, Pledge, I find that kind of fascinating because just looking at it, I'm guessing that Aaron Rodgers is going to, if he decides to play, it won't be in Pittsburgh because I think he liked Mike Tomlin. In fact, came out last night and said, any talk of Tomlin being fired or let go or whatever the case is dumb talk. Because the guy's great. And with that, I agree with him on. But I would think the Dolphins at this point in time might be the better job than the Steelers, simply because at least you've got a quarterback.
Do you?
Well, you've got Tua. He may not be the best, but you got him. Would you rather have Tua or Mason Rudolph?
And whoever you draft?
Well, maybe. But you got to figure. I mean, the Steelers.
It's not just you're getting Tua and that salary.
Well, that
restrictive salary.
All of that is true, but I think the Steelers have spent a lot of money on that defense. Last night they played pretty well, or the Texans played poorly, one of the two. Maybe a combination of both, but I don't know. Maybe I'd just rather live in Miami than Pittsburgh.
I think that's it.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Because I look at it, and the fact that in the AFC North, two-time Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski, who has gotten the Browns to the playoffs a couple of times, John Harbaugh, who has been there for nearly 2 decades.
18 years, I think.
Won a Super Bowl, multiple playoff appearances.
Right.
And Mike Tomlin, who has never had a losing season, makes the playoffs 8-9 consecutive years in a row, granted, out in the first round every time. But of all those coaches, Zach Taylor is the one that remains standing after going 6-11 with Joe Burrow.
Well, and Burrow, but what? Burrow missed 8 games?
Sure. But
something like that, 8 or 9 games.
Of the coaches that you thought would be gone at the end of the year,
well, it's because
he would have been highest on the list.
The Bengals are too damn cheap to fire somebody and then have to pay him. I mean, they're kind of like the Cowboys in that regard, right? That's why they make Mike McCarthy work as a lame duck. Look, Zach Taylor's only got another chance, and my hope is that Joe Burrow will stay healthy. You talk about a guy that just can't stay healthy. But when he is healthy, that team is solid. Now, they've got work to do. Their defense sucks. But they've got 2 of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And so if you would just do something with that defense, if they were just average.
And yet their results are what they are. They still decide to keep their head coach when the other 3 in that division, who are just immeasurably better, in my opinion, have all been sent walking papers in the last 2 weeks.
See, now that is an interesting thing that you bring up, because of the choices, obviously Lamar Jackson is an attractive choice when it comes to that job. But if Zach Taylor, if they would have cleaned house in the entire division, I mean, think about that.
Bengals might be the best job.
Well, it might be, other than they've got just a horrible ownership group who never wants to spend any money. But, again, they have been to the Super Bowl lately.
They have talent.
They do have talent, especially offensive talent. And, it's going to be interesting. Zach Taylor, that had to be part – Joe Burrow had to have some say in that, I would assume. If he didn't want Zach Taylor there, he wouldn't be there. So, I don't know. It's interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see these 8, 9, 10 openings in the NFL.
9. I think we're up to 9.
9 openings in the NFL.
Maybe 10.
And some of them are good. There are some that are good. And then some that just flat out suck. Would you want to go to Cleveland? You talk about no quarterback. They don't have one. And you say Shedeur Sanders, whatever. But would that excite you to go there? Not me. Mike McDaniel.
But you have multiple first-round picks now with the Jaguars trading up with you last year.
And you do still have Deshaun Watson. Does he come back and play?
Was he in San Antonio?
Was he in San Antonio? He might have been. Very possible. With the massage parlor bus. That's possible. Look, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Now, I'm looking at an article. Sports Illustrated just put this out, and I find it interesting. The rumors have been hot and heavy, and they really have. And you can't. They got to be coming from somewhere. The top, according to Sports Illustrated, their top guy to replace Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh is Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Mm-hmm.
And his name has been flown around a lot.
It was in the Giants search very early on.
I don't think that happens by accident. They go on to say Brian Flores, who has already interviewed with the Ravens, not the Steelers, but the Ravens. You've got some guy, Nate Steelhouse or Haas, passing game coordinator for the Rams. Jesse Minter's another big name that's been thrown around, defensive coordinator with the Chargers. I think he probably will land a head coaching job somewhere. And Chris Shula is another one, defensive coordinator for the Rams, Don Shula's grandson. A lot of people think he may go back to Miami. Obviously, the fit there, Don Shula is a legend with the Miami Dolphins, and to have another Shula coaching that team, that could be interesting. Clint Kubiak is another one, the offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks.
He definitely gets one of these 9 openings.
I think he does too. I really do. And I will be shocked if Mike McCarthy does not get a job with someone. I honestly will be shocked.
You bring up Pittsburgh.
He's a Pittsburgh guy. I would assume, as soon as I heard the news today, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm calling my agent and saying, how do we make this happen?
I know he's interviewing with the Giants today, but, I mean, Pittsburgh does feel like a match for a Mike McCarthy. And to think that of your stops would have been, as head coach, Green Bay, Dallas, and then Pittsburgh.
Boy,
just legacy franchises.
Yeah, 3 legacy franchises. That would be incredible. But I think he gets a job. Look, the guy's a good coach. I think he will get a job if he wants one of the jobs that are offered to him. But I would think as soon as he heard the news, he called his agent and said, "Let's make this happen," or at least get me in front of the ownership group and let me talk to them, because
we have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
Hey, look, I mean, if you go to Pittsburgh and you win a playoff game, isn't that a success? I mean, I would say that's a success. So all you have to do is win one. Did he ever win one with the Cowboys?
Yeah, remember they sent Tom Brady packing.
That's true. They did. They did send Tom Brady packing. Okay. Well, there you go. You see, I mean, interesting. We talk about the Cowboys. Donovan Ezeraku was arrested on reckless driving charges. To me, let me preface this by saying it is a big deal. Don't drive reckless. Okay, I'm not, but I mean, I don't think he was drunk. I didn't see anywhere where he's drunk. He's just driving recklessly and fast.
Yeah, well, reckless driving is such a broad
ticket. Yeah.
It could be Rashee Rice. Could be reckless driving, or it could be I was going 65 and a 45 on the access road.
All of the above could be there. I think he's fine. But still, that's the kind of stuff in the offseason you don't want to hear about. Come on. You don't. But then we got to remember that these guys are still basically, well, they're not kids, but they're young men. And I know when I was in my early 20s, there were things leading me besides my head, the one on my shoulders. And so it was, you do stupid things because you think you're bulletproof. And Donovan Ezeraku, probably the same thing. You get in a fast car, you got a lot of money, and you're driving that thing all over the place, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. But everybody's turned out okay, and it's not tragic. So, but he does get arrested for that. I'm assuming that's a very minor charge, and but still. That kind of publicity is you don't want that.
I mean, there's a joke in Texas, like you don't do speed limit in the left lane. That's for people with ticket money.
Right, exactly, exactly right. So Tom Guerrero on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page is a funny guy. Says no blinker. I'm the only guy that doesn't use a blinker, apparently, in the state of Texas. I must be the only one that doesn't do that when I'm merging in perfectly, and then I get the finger from.
It was well deserved,
and I have no problem with that. If somebody wants to tell me I'm number one, I have no issue with that pledge. It's fine. I just don't get it.
Just let me know you're coming over. That's all.
Well, I'm merging. Am I supposed to stop? I mean, I know
I
we
didn't
had.
say you stop. Just let me know you're coming over.
I know we had this conversation before, but it still kind of pisses me off. When you have to merge, when you can't go forward anymore, the guy in the other lane has to know that, right?
Get off my lawn.
You're assuming the guy in the other lane's paying attention.
Well, I'm just saying. And so I'm coming over, and then, he gets it all high and mighty, and, you need a blinker for that. And I didn't know he was a driving instructor.
He might have been.
Well, he may have been. Who knows?
You're trying to teach a student the proper driving techniques, and you got some,
Yeah. Well, I think
trying to merge without a blinker.
I think you should prepare those students for people like me. I mean, hey, not everybody's going to do it right, so you got to pay attention. No blinker. Jeez. That's irritating as hell. It really
is irritating.
It's irritating
when
as
people
hell.
Don't use their blinker. I agree with you, Joe.
I hope everybody out there is using their blinker if you're driving around listening to this fine program. So there you go. My goodness. Use your blinker so you don't get flipped off by some dude in a van down by the river. It's a great Tuesday. A lot of breaking news and all of that kind of stuff. I'm glad you're with us on this Tuesday afternoon, whatever you're doing, however you are doing it. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's a new year, and Aleve is here to help you keep your New Year's resolutions on track. Whether it's a daily walk, hitting the gym, or spending more time with friends and family, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you moving with long-lasting body pain relief so you can chase those dreams and achieve your goals. Don't let body pain slow you down. Keep going with Aleve, because this year is your year. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The big news of the day, obviously, is Mike Tomlin stepping down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 19 years he was at the helm of the Steelers, but he steps down. Steelers now looking for their fourth head coach since 1969. Of course, this comes after the Houston defense just dominated them last night, and they beat the Steelers. They are on to the divisional round.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On a Breaking News Tuesday, that's what we're calling it today. Why not? Mike Tomlin stepping down. Glad you're here to react and hear everything that we've got to say, because a lot of changes in the NFL, that's for sure. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off. He'll be back with us tomorrow, however. But today, Mike Tomlin, that is the story going around. Because, I mean, when a coach coaches somewhere in the NFL, hell, for 10 years, that's a surprise. When you're talking about losing 2 coaches just this offseason, and Mike Tomlin with 19 years, John Harbaugh, 18 years, it's an incredible thing. So it means change is abound in the NFL. Now, there are a lot of franchises that change coaches like they change their shirts every day. But
Cowboys change defensive coordinators like that.
Well, that's lately that's certainly how it has been. But the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers are not those two. And boy, I tell you, it's strange, and it's certainly going to be interesting who they decide to pick to replace 2 legends, obviously. Now, when you look at these guys, John Harbaugh has made it pretty clear. Now, he was fired. Keep that in mind. That's important to note. He can go get another job. Mike Tomlin, on the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers came out today and said that they are going to retain his rights. So that means if he likes a job or somebody's interested in him, they're going to have to play ball with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And how much ball they're going to have to play might depend on who he goes to. It's funny that you get both of these iconic franchises, both of these franchises that have been very successful under Harbaugh and Tomlin, respectfully. Would it be interesting if they changed positions?
I would love it.
Well,
I mean, these are the 2 models of consistency in the NFL.
Well, I think it would be interesting, too, and I think the owner of the Ravens kind of thought it might be interesting.
Mike Tomlin stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike.
Yeah, I guess good for Mike. Huh? I mean, and look, I think it is. And we talked about this with John Harbaugh. And I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. By the way, we do have a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Which NFL opening is the best available right now? The Ravens, the Steelers, the Giants, or the Dolphins? If we had another spot, we'd have thrown in the Atlanta Falcons, but we decided to go with the Dolphins. Ravens running away with it right now at 52%. The Giants coming in second at 25%. Steelers at 15%. And then the Dolphins are way down there at 8%. Go vote in that. Go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page and vote in our poll there. And I'd like to hear from you because I think when you're talking about Harbaugh and or Tomlin, you got to look at the amount of time that they're there. Now, look, this was not a Pittsburgh Steelers decision from everything we're being told. This was all Mike Tomlin. Now, whether they were thinking about firing him or not, remains to be seen, and we may never know because, I mean, he decided to quit. He decided to move on himself, and there was no discussion, no meeting, no anything like that. The story goes that he went to the Rooney family or Rooney II, I believe, and said, look, I'm going to call it a day here in Pittsburgh. And, apparently there was no fight, or if there wasn't much of one, and that's the way that it goes. I know that he had a meeting with the players about 2 o'clock Eastern time today, and that's when he informed the players that he was going to step aside. A lot of the players not happy about that. There was a reporter on ESPN, Brooke Taylor, that covers the Steelers for ESPN, saying a lot of the players were upset by it and just nothing but praise for one Mike Tomlin. But when you look at guys staying at one team 19 years, and we'll just take Tomlin right now, could not win a playoff game. Got to the playoffs every year. Didn't have a losing record every year he was there. But you didn't get it done in the playoffs. And I just think at some point in time, and I think Tomlin knew this, and I think that's why he stepped down. At some point in time, you got to try something different. And I've heard the arguments all over the place that, yeah, you better be careful what you're doing here because you're not going to get anybody better than Mike Tomlin. And that very well may be true. You're not going to get anybody better than a John Harbaugh. Might be true. But at some point in time, you got to try something different. The Harbaugh situation, I think, is a different animal altogether because there are stories coming out now that Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson just weren't seeing eye to eye. And there were some problems there. And look, the franchise is going to side with the quarterback, your franchise quarterback. That's what they're going to do, and that's what they did. And so they actually fired Harbaugh. They said they showed him the door where it was not the same thing in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers came out last night and said, it's foolish to talk about Mike Tomlin leaving. And I understand why that is because all of the players last night reiterating the fact that Tomlin had not lost the locker room, that he was still a force in that locker room, and guys were still listening to what he had to say. And so, but again, I think at some point in time when you've been there, the amount of time that both of those guys were there, you got to try something different, especially when it comes to the case of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, can somebody else that comes in get more out of them and win a playoff game or make a playoff run? It remains to be seen, and they may not be any better than Mike Tomlin. All I know is what Mike Tomlin is, and certainly was as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a class act. He was a guy that commanded respect. He was a guy that you did it his way. He was a guy that demanded you did it his way, and you did it the right way. And I have a great deal of respect for Mike Tomlin, a great deal of respect for him. And if he wants to coach again, he can certainly do that. Again, there is an issue and a speed bump with the Steelers retaining his rights, and they have every right to do that since he wasn't fired. He left on his own. So they can retain his rights and demand a trade if somebody really wants that. But look, it happens all the time. Sean Payton was that way with Denver. Denver had to trade with the Saints to get him. So it happens, and if you truly want somebody, then you make that happen, and it all depends on what Pittsburgh is going to do. Harbaugh, on the other hand, that's not an issue, and he probably, at least judging by the interviews he's taken thus far, he probably will have a job this year. Whether that's the Giants, whether that's it's not going to be the Steelers. I'd almost bet the ranch on it. It's not going to be the Steelers. I think it's going to be the Giants or the Falcons. It'll be one of those two teams. And I think, to me, the Giants' job right now is the best job out there. I know what people are thinking about Lamar Jackson. I get it. You got a franchise quarterback. He's going to get a new deal. The owner said that today. They're working on it, and they want to give him another 5-year deal that's probably going to make him the highest-paid quarterback, highest-paid player in the National Football League. He will probably pass Dak Prescott, and I get it, and it probably will happen. I worry a little bit about Lamar Jackson, I'll be honest with you. Still a great player, but not as great this year as he has been. Now, injury's a factor in that, certainly, but is he starting to be on that downhill slide? I mean, let's face it, Lamar Jackson has put a lot of miles on that body. He's taken a lot of hits as well. Great player, 2-time MVP, but another player that hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs. So you got to ask yourself, what is the better job? Do you go to the Giants where you've got a rookie quarterback or you've got a guy on his first contract. So you've got some room to play with. You've got some draft picks. You've got a running back in Scatterboo. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver. You got a pretty good defensive line that's already there. You've got a foundation in place with the New York Football Giants. And I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans hating the fact of seeing John Harbaugh go to the New York Giants. They hate it. And I would imagine the same feeling in Philadelphia and Washington. Nobody wants to see him there. But to me, that's the best job. And look, you still got some time to figure out if Jackson Dart's the guy. I think he's played well. I think he's got to calm down a little bit. But, again, I think that, to me, that's the best job because you can do more things, I think, and turn that franchise around. Now, as far as the Ravens go, you don't have to turn them around. I mean, they were just a missed kick away from the playoffs, and maybe they would have done better against the Texans since typically they do against the Texans in the playoffs, but it didn't work out that way. So it's going to be interesting to see, and all these interviews and all of this stuff that's flying around here and people going here and there and looking for coordinators and looking for head coaches. I don't recall, honestly, I do not recall a season like this where there's so many head coach job openings. Have you, Pledge? I mean, I can't remember. There's always
like there's
5,
a lot.
6, but there 9 jobs open right now. I mean, that to me is just, boy, that just seems like a lot.
I feel like there's at least 5 or 6 every year.
Right.
At least. And sometimes there have been more than that. Sometimes, I mean, there are times when I feel like half the league has fired their coaches.
Well, it's true. And look, we live in a microwave society these days, and if you don't get it done, you get fired. Some franchises don't care about paying coaches to walk away. Some don't, some do. The Cowboys do. Pittsburgh hasn't had to deal with that, and they certainly don't have to deal with it now, even though Tomlin technically is still under contract through next season. And I think there's an option for the season after that. But technically, Mike Tomlin is still under contract to the Pittsburgh Steelers for at least another year. So interesting stuff, especially with those two guys. Those two in particular, not having a job anymore is well, it's kind of weird, I'll be honest with you. And it just kind of signals a little bit of change. But I'm here for it. I want to see what somebody else does with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to see what somebody else does with the Baltimore Ravens. I do. And I'd like to see one of these guys bring their coaching expertise to a New York Giants team, an Atlanta Falcons team. I don't know. I don't mind the change, and because you just don't know what you're going to get, and it's always fun to watch. And then again, how much more, how much change and how long is it going to take, and all of those kinds of things. And so I'm here for it. I think it's an exciting offseason already, and we're not even to the divisional round of the playoffs. I love it. It is awesome. Speaking of the divisional round of the playoffs, how about those Houston Texans last night? Well, I mean, I hope you feel bad today because you got a coach, you didn't get him fired, but he quit after you just bullied his old quarterback. Bullied him. It was unbelievable. We're talking about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making a player pick for the first time, there's something that can't be too hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels so good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups, bowl games coming, tournament time, it is time to jump right in. When it comes to playoffs, you go with stars. Stars always produce. In the NFL, they get those stars because they're stars. And as we get closer and closer, I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a man alone on Buffalo. Whenever you get to the more, you go with Josh Allen. In basketball, oh my goodness, Luka is balling. You can't go wrong with Luka. And I want to tell you about a brand new part of Prize Picks. It's a new feature, early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out on those winnings before the game even finishes. I want you to go download Prize Picks and use the code Alamo, and you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup.
lineup. That's Alamo for $50 in lineups, and all you got to do is play 5. Prize Picks. It's so good to be right.
If you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing, your heating, your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899, 651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. They do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And you think about air conditioner early part of the week, might need your heater this weekend and into next week. If you got an issue, call Quartermoon. They also have great maintenance programs that ensures you're available and ready to go, and your unit's ready for whatever you need it for. And maintenance helps keep big problems from happening. So take care of that. Get it done. Call Quartermoon. They got great maintenance programs. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226.
Having a tough time paying your bills? Learn how to reduce your credit card debt to a fraction of what you owe. Call the Debt Helpline now for free advice. 800-329-9912. 800-329-9912.
This right here, this is a call to the ones who don't back down. To the risk takers who defied the warnings. To the ones who lost sleep in pursuit of a dream. To all the nut jobs who mortgaged the house and the crazies who bet the farm to start up a business. We want to be your next partner. Because no matter how far you've come or how much you've grown, there's always the next chapter, the next level. And now, there's the next rodeo. The Next Rodeo is a creative partner that brings world-class thinking to companies with grit, heart, and hustle. Companies just like yours. The Next Rodeo. The difference between the business you have and the business you want is one great idea. Get the full story at thenextrodeo.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hump day on the Morning Huddle. We'll be in talking Spurs and Thunder. Who left happy?
The coaching carousel continues to turn. What's a Tomlin worth? Where does Harbaugh want to live? So many questions. We got the answers. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
No Jason, just Joe today, but Jason will be back with us tomorrow. Had some things to take care of today, and, well, we let him off, you know. Sometimes you got to do that. I had nothing to do with it, but that's the way that it goes. He's taking the day off. He'll be back with us tomorrow, and but my goodness, he's missing a day today. A lot of breaking news with this Mike Tomlin situation, and now two major players in the coaching world of the NFL out of a job. One of them looking, the other, who knows what he's going to do. We'll wait and see what Mike Tomlin decides to do. Now, all of this comes after the Houston Texans beat Pittsburgh last night. And when I say beat them, it was a beat down, although it took a minute for that to happen. And I say that just from the scoreboard portion of it. The Houston defense beat down that Pittsburgh offense all night. I mean, it was just if it would have been a boxing match, they would have called it early. So I tell you, Pittsburgh offensively had no answer for the Houston Texans defense last night. It was just incredible. Never did I think, even when it was 7-6 going into the final quarter, I was hoping it would stay close somehow. I was hoping that Pittsburgh would get lucky with something, a returned fumble, a pick six, something, but that obviously never happened. And it seemed like the Houston Texans defense just flipped the switch and said, all right, there's enough of this. We're playing against a 105-year-old, and we're going to take him down. And that's basically what they did. I love that Texans defense. And Pledge has up a graphic up on our computer screen over there. And it's talking about that Texans secondary. We all talk about the defensive line, the pass rushers. They're damn good, obviously, but that secondary is pretty good. When you got Kalen Bullock, Jalen Petrie, Kamari Lassiter, and Derek Stingley Jr., combined rating allowed. Now, I'm assuming, Pledge, because I can't see that all that great, 30.97. Is that a passer rating? That's incredible that's all they're allowing. Derek Stingley last night was only targeted twice, and he did not allow a catch. Kalen Bullock, 2 targets. He did allow 1 catch, but he also had a pick six. Am I reading that right? Jalen Petrie, 5 targets, 3 catches for 23 yards. You'll give that all day. That's not going to hurt anything. Kamari Lassiter looks like 6 targets, 3 catches for 27 yards. So that secondary is pretty good too. They really are. There is no denying that the Texans' defense is, in my mind, the best in the NFL. Maybe Seattle could rival them. I'm not sure, but they're just damn good. And D'Amico Ryans was asked after the game just to assess his team's defensive performance.
Yeah, it was an outstanding defensive performance, one of the best that I've seen, especially versus a really talented offense, talented quarterback who's played at a high level for a long time. So I'm proud of our defensive performance. I think this is the best performance we've had in our team history. So I'm proud of our guys for that, to limit the points, to take the football away, not only just take it away, but to go score. You get 2 defensive touchdowns, that's a big deal. It doesn't happen much, and so I'm proud of our guys.
Yeah, well, and he should be proud of those guys, that's for sure. Now, C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, it wasn't a stellar night for one C.J. Stroud last night. In fact, he looked lost most of that game. Am I saying anything that's wrong? Honestly, he looked lost. He did not look good at all. And I wouldn't say that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is anything that's certainly not on the level of the Texans defense. But C.J. looked lost a lot of the time last night. His passes were bad. He was turning the football over, fumbling the ball, and it was a mess. I even text our group chat saying WTF CJ, and it's unbelievable. But he didn't have to be spectacular. His defense made up for all of his mistakes, and they got the job done. Took over in that fourth quarter. CJ obviously praising his defense.
Yeah, I think our defense has played like this all year. They've held us up. I think, this is one of the best performances I've ever seen. It's crazy. I'm thinking in the last 3 wild card games I played in, they've always had a pick six and some type of 2 turnover game, So, when you have a defense like that, it's really, really encouraging.
It's got to be encouraging, and it's got to be a security blanket. You can make a mistake, and you know that defense most likely is going to pick you up and take care of things. It's incredible, but that's the only concern that I have about this Houston Texans team. If their offense was anything at all, I would say, man, I'd prepare a way for Houston in San Francisco. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl, because with that defense, and if they continue to play that way, man, if they had any offense at all. And now Nico Collins is out. Left last night's game with a concussion. They had to take him off on a cart, which is not good. And with only 6 days until they face the New England Patriots, you got to count on him probably not playing. He's probably not going to play. And that's a big blow to the Houston Texans. I don't think there's any question about it. Best wide receiver on the field, although Christian Kirk may say, hey, I'm over here. Guy had a great game last night. He really did.
He had a fantastic game. I was just happy to see that, he still played for Houston.
Well,
I hadn't seen him all year.
Exactly. He showed up exactly when they needed him, made some clutch catches for the Houston Texans last night to help with that effort. Now it's the New England Patriots. Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, the Pats opened up as a 3-point favorite. And I think that number's about right, I would think. Again, the Patriots with a good defense, their defense is good. It's not Houston Texans level defense, but the difference is going to be their offense is a hell of a lot better than Pittsburgh's offense. It is. It just is. And you can say they haven't played anybody. You can say all of that kind of stuff. It doesn't make any difference to me. This is a new ball game and a new all of that stuff in the past doesn't matter. They beat the Chargers last week, and there's a lot of people that they're not a good team either. But they got a pretty good defense. And Drake May, while he didn't look stellar, got it done when it counted. Can he get it done when it counts against the Houston Texans? Going to be a great game. Let's talk about it. I invite your opinions, by the way. If you go into our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, you can comment there, like and subscribe to that page. At Joe Reinagle 210 is on Twitter. And the phone lines, 210-656-3776, 656 ESPN. That's where Joshua is. And he wants to talk about the Texans and the Patriots. Joshua, what's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, well, you were asking about where our confidence level is.
Yeah.
And I will say my confidence level is not to where it was with Pittsburgh because, like I stated yesterday, I was 100% confident Texans were pulling out the victory. I'm about at a 90% confidence. I believe that they're going to win. I just think it's probably going to be real close. Because like you said, I don't know if they can overcome 3 turnovers from Dak Stroud, the quarterback of the Houston Texans. So it's going to be a tougher game, but this defense did show something that I haven't seen, which I don't want it to seem in negative as I'm saying this, that I haven't seen this defense do the entire season, which is take over the entire game. Because once that defense had the sack, forced fumble, and touchdown, it was a completely different game from there. And the offense didn't really do anything after that. It was mainly the defense that scored. Even Caleb Bullock, when he picked off that one interception, he made sure that he got in the end zone. He could have just went out of bounds or slid down, which most normal defensive players would do because in that situation, you're up, just let the offense run out the clock. No, he wanted to get that touchdown. This defensive back, the defensive line, the linebackers, this is a different breed of defense. This is something that is better than the Bulls on parade back in the 2011, 2012 years with the Texans. This defense truly is one of the best and might go down as one of the best defenses in the entire football history because of just how well they've played this entire season and how well they're probably going to have to play in the postseason with Dak Stroud and, our buddy Nick Caley out there calling offense, which he didn't call a bad game yesterday. So I will give him credit. He called a decent game, and it was okay. So we'll just see. I don't know how long the defense can carry the team because I think we're away from those 2000 Baltimore Ravens defenses where you can just win the game with the defense. But this defense showed that they can, and they scored more points than the entire offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the entire Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday did as a whole. So this defense is very good, and I think they can take over the games, and that's why I think they'll beat Pittsburgh. And then it's on to
they already beat
what
Pittsburgh.
I think, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Or they got to beat New England.
They got to beat
New England next week.
Yeah.
And then it's back to NRG to face Buffalo.
All right. Well, thanks, Joshua. And look, I can't argue with you. That defense is spectacular. It really is. But if C.J. Stroud plays Sunday like he played last night, they're going to lose. I'm just telling you right now, if he turns the football over 3 times, the Texans will lose that game. That's just the way that it is. Look, you've got a quarterback who's young, complete opposite of what you had last night. Aaron Rodgers looked like he had cement shoes on. I mean, he couldn't get out of the way of anybody. Drake May's able to move in the pocket, and I would assume you've got a Mike Vrabel calling the plays. They're going to roll that pocket. They're going to do whatever they have to do to try and buy some time. Will it be enough? And again, we just pointed out the stats for that Houston Texans secondary. They're pretty damn good too. And so it's going to be tough for New England. It's going to be a good football game. I just don't think that the defense is going to have to play the way they did. They're going to have to. But C.J. Stroud has got to step up. He has got to step up. Now, look, they ran the football pretty well last night, the Texans did. They really did. They ran the football pretty well. Ben Brasino on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page reminded me the offense scored 17 points. Okay. Score 17 points Sunday and don't have any defensive scores and see what the final score ends up being. I don't think you're going to be happy about that.
17-13.
They've got to play better than what they played yesterday. And I don't know. I like this New England team. I really do. I think they're balanced. They're going to be able to run the football a little bit and maybe slow that pass rush down somewhat. I'm not saying they're going to win the game. I think the Texans can win this football game. I don't think there's any question about it. But I'm just saying it's not going to. They're not going up against a 100-year-old, a guy that shouldn't have even been on the field, for goodness sake. I mean, honestly.
I mean, I've seen him play against Justin Herbert, Drake May, other quarterbacks that can move. The only quarterback that ends up giving the Texans defense fits, it seems like, is Lamar Jackson. And he's not in this postseason.
Have they played New England? They didn't play New England this year,
Not this year.
Not this year. Okay. And I know people remind me that, New England played nobody this year. Well, they beat Buffalo in Buffalo, and when Tampa was hot, they went down to Tampa Bay and beat them. And I get it. But, I mean, is that New England's fault? And I guess we're going to fault them for that. I don't know. You got to play who's in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It was a soft schedule. It was. And that happens. Dallas Cowboys will probably have a soft schedule next year simply because of that, and that's the way that it works in the NFL. If you struggle, you don't make the playoffs, your schedule's a little bit softer than a team that did make the playoffs. New England will have a much tougher schedule next year. They will.
And New England, for all your credit you're giving them, which they deserve, only scored 16 points against the Chargers.
Sure.
They won 16-3, so it's not like their offense looked like world beaters.
Yeah, Drake May did not look good in that game. He didn't. He did not play well in that game.
And the Chargers defense is good, but it's not the Texans defense either.
It's not. I think for Drake May's sake, and again, I'm just talking New England right now. I'm not picking them. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but to his credit, having that one playoff game under his belt, I think will help him going into game number 2. And I think that could have been part of the problem because look, we say it all the time on this show, and you guys know this. I don't care what sport it is. Doesn't make any difference. The regular season is the regular season. You get into the playoffs, everything steps up a couple of steps. That's just the way that it is. Players play harder. There's more desperation. Every possession means something, and it's just the way that it is. If you're in week 8 and, you lose that game, okay, well, we can make it up next week. There's no making it up next week in the playoffs. And so it's a different ball game, and the desperation is so much more than it is during the regular season. That's why some players can handle that. Some players can't. C.J. Stroud had a rough time last night against a team that has an average defense. I wouldn't say they're stellar, but he had a hard time last night because everybody ratchets up. And Pittsburgh's defense might have played their best game all season last night, in all sincerity, because they hadn't been that great. They've been giving up a lot of big plays. But Houston took over the game defensively. But it's just going to be it's a different animal next week, just quarterback-wise and talent-wise. on that team. And I think that's going to make a difference. It's going to make a better ball game.
If the Patriots are going to win this game, they've got to run the football.
They have to. They have to.
In my opinion, just to take the pressure off of Drake May so that it's not put on him to strap on a cape and go win it. There's only one quarterback and the two quarterbacks in the playoffs that can do that, in my opinion.
Well, who's the other one besides Josh Allen?
Matt Stafford.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. He did that last week. A lot of big football games coming up this weekend. Let's talk about them. There's also some news and notes around the NFL, and of course, we know that the change is in the air. Change is in the air for sure. Before we go, though, Pledge, J.J. Watt, he's a big hero of all Houston Texan fans, right?
Of course.
Wonder who he was rooting for last night.
It's a question my parents got asked when Eli and I would play. They wouldn't admit it. The answer was always Eli. What are your rooting interests in this game with your old team versus your brother's team?
All right. I'll shoot you fully straight on it. First things first, it's obviously a win-win for me. I got somebody to root for in the next round I'm very excited about. I've known TJ since 1994. Talked to him every single day of his entire life. I am rooting for my blood because I have known him forever. If the Texans win, I'll be very excited for them and very happy to cheer for them moving forward. But, I mean, I've seen the guy in diapers. I've seen him at highs and lows. I stood next to him at his wedding. We talk every single day. As you guys know, blood is thicker than anything else.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad he was honest about it. Because if he would have said anything else, he was not telling the truth. You got to root for your family. I mean, you have to. And he did. Yeah, props to him.
Well, remember the 3 Fs, and it's in order. Faith, family, football.
There you go. So now he's all in, Houston Texan fan. You got J.J. Watt back. His brother's out of the playoffs. So you got him back. He'll be pulling for you against New England this Sunday.
There we go.
There it is. So everything's fine. I'm just curious, JJ. I think it was an honest answer, and I appreciate that. And I love the Manning cast. I didn't watch the Manning cast. I never do. But maybe I should more because I like stuff like that. And when Peyton Manning comes up, think about it. I mean, his parents had to choose, from time to time. Who the hell are you rooting for, Eli or Peyton?
Well, here's the thing with the Manning cast. It probably would have been great to watch about the first 2.5, 3 quarters of the Manning cast as the game was just ugly.
Kidding. Yes.
And then turn it over to the regular broadcast for the fourth quarter once it started getting interesting.
This is all true, but maybe I'll have to watch that. I would assume that they'll have a Manning cast for that game on Texans-Patriots. I would assume. It's on ABC, ESPN. I would assume they'll do that. We'll have to wait and see. But, look, those guys are funny as hell. I mean, they are. Both Manning brothers. I love the Jersey Mike's commercials, by the way. Some of my favorite with Eli and Danny DeVito. That's outstanding. Let's talk a little NFL divisional round football because there's some good matchups and some news and notes from around the NFL. We'll do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's mid-January. Time to get your health in check, and you can do that with Synergenics and Low T Center. In today's AI world, you can't trust with your own eyes a lot of what you see anymore. You have to stop and ask, is this real? Well, you know what is real? Your health, and what the experts at Synergenics and Low T Center can do to change your life for the better. If you've been suffering from the symptoms of low testosterone, get into Synergenics and Low T Center, where you can meet with a real provider, not a chatbot on a website. Synergenics and Low T Center are the experts offering superior medication, service, and support, and they've been doing it for well over a decade. It all starts with a simple, quick, free TRT test at the center. They have an on-site lab, which means you get results in about 20 minutes. No waiting for days like at other places. Then you get the choice to get treated in-center or receive at-home treatment. And ladies, for a limited time, the women's hormone test is only $99. Normally, it's $299. So don't wait. Get started now. Go to the website, getmyhealthfix.com. That's getmyhealthfix.com. Celebrate the 17th annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day with PorkRinds.com and NFL legend Devin Hester. We're teaming up to support the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, helping retired players get the medical care they deserve. Want to get in the game? Visit porkrinds.com to play their Crunch Time Hero game and enter daily to win a trip to the 2027 big game in LA, plus a year's supply of pork rinds. Grab the perfect low-carb snack and be your own Pork Rind Appreciation Day hero today at porkrinds.com.
Avatar Fire and Ash has arrived.
I am the fire!
Get your 3D tickets now for the greatest chapter of the biggest saga in history.
Whatever happens, protect his family.
Critics rave it's by far the best Avatar movie.
If your father and I do not return, you go as far and as fast as you can.
Movies don't get any bigger than this. Avatar Fire and Ash, rated PG-13, now playing.
Progressive Commercial presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, your favorite sassy diner server. Sure, her eyes might say, I don't have all day. But deep down, you know that extra pancake on your plate says, I dislike you less than most people. Thanks, hero. What else can keep truckers going? Progressive truck insurance with primary liability limits up to $2 million. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to terms and limits.
When winter weather hits and the power goes out, will your family still have heat, light, and communication? The Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply gives you serious off-grid power. It'll run heaters, refrigerators, medical devices, and more without gas or noise. Right now, you can double your power for free with a free expansion battery when you order the Grid Doctor 3300. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and get your Grid Doctor 3300 today. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night harvested tequila. This is tequila at its natural, unfiltered best, made with 100% blue agave and totally additive free. Smooth, vibrant, and full of character. It's tequila the way it was meant to be. So whether you're chasing championships or celebrating the moment, raise your glass to bold beginnings and taste the Blue Star difference.
Find Blue Star Tequila near you at Specs, Costco, and Alamo City Liquor.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
If your dog goes wild at the doorbell, it's time for a new game plan. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuits is coaching up new pups and current MVPs with professional training sessions. Call them today at 210-750-1298. That's 210-750-1298. Call them today.
What a day, what a day, what a day. And it's only going to get better as we move throughout the week. Get ready for the divisional round of the playoffs. And don't forget, next Monday night, the Blitz is going to be live for the national championship game between Indiana and Miami out at the Rue Pub. Of course, there is no better place to watch big events than the Rue Pub. They got those 3 big screens over the bar, games on TVs all over the place, and, well, the food is great. You got to join Jason and I. We're going to be broadcasting from the Rue Pub at 281 in Redland Road, 2 to 6, getting you ready for the national championship game, Indiana and Miami. A lot of you probably have the day off next Monday, so keep that in mind. If you do, come spend it with us. Come watch the show. You don't even have to heckle us on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. You can do it right there in person. And how much more fun would that be? It'd be outstanding. By the way, the divisional games are all right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, by the way. Thanks to our friends from Flight by Yingling. Begins on Saturday. Bills take on the Broncos in Denver, 2:30 pregame, followed by the 49ers in Seattle to take on the Seahawks at 7 o'clock. And then, of course, Sunday, Texans, New England, and then the Rams and the Bears. It's all right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, every one of those. So if you can't be by a TV one of those days, you can certainly tune it in here on 94.1. The NFL playoffs brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. And we appreciate them for doing that. We mentioned the divisional round games, and man, I'm fired up about it. You know, with Philly getting beat, you're going to have a first-time champ, or at least a different champ. No repeat champions, since San Francisco did us all a favor and knocked out the Philadelphia Eagles, which was very nice of them to do that. So you got Buffalo and Denver coming up. That's the first game on Saturday afternoon. That will be on CBS, by the way. And I'm looking forward to that game. Now, I don't know if it's good to have a week off if you're Seattle, if you're Denver, but we'll see. Buffalo had a hell of a tough game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very physical game against the Jags. And you don't have to believe me. Just you want to ask Josh Allen. That dude was beat up. I mean, they were knocking him around. He got it done, and he still finished that game, and he was in good shape. But my goodness, they were banging him around. Very physical game. And that Jacksonville team, I think, is a team you got to watch for moving forward. But how is Denver going to react? Obviously, they've got a good defense. There's no doubt about that. Offensively, it's concerning. Let's face it. When you look at them in the regular season, Bo Nix, average, although he had flashes, and a lot of his flashes came in the fourth quarter. That's when Denver's notorious this year for coming back in the fourth quarter, for rallying to wins and getting that done in the fourth quarter. Going to be a good football game, and you got to look at the winner of that game, and I don't care who comes out of the Patriots-Texans game. You got to look, whoever comes out of that might be the favorite, although the only good news is for either the Texans or the Patriots, if Buffalo wins, they got to come to you. So, obviously, if you're one of those two teams, you're hoping that the Bills knock off Denver, so you don't have to travel to Denver. You get them coming to you, whether that's either in New England or in Houston. And can you imagine the Texans pledge hosting an AFC championship game against the Buffalo Bills?
Stuff I dream about.
That would be incredible. And look, I'll give this to you. The Texans own Buffalo. I mean, they really do. They play well against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And,
especially in Houston.
Exactly. And it's, boy, that would be a dream matchup for the Houston Texans if that happens. Of course, they've got to beat New England, too, to make that happen. But you're hoping Buffalo wins that game. Second game on Saturday night is San Francisco at Seattle. I promise you, nobody is going to give the Niners a chance in this game. Nobody's going to. I'm not going to. I don't think Pledge is. I haven't asked him directly. But you giving them a chance, Pledge?
Given
San Francisco.
Yeah.
You are?
I mean, I don't know if I'm picking them or not, but, like, I give them a chance just because Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey, they have found ways to win this year.
What about that Brock Purdy guy?
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
There's a reason that he's starting and not Mac Jones.
Well, there is. He led the game-winning drive against Philadelphia. And I'm happy for Brock Purdy. He's been one of those guys, though, that plays well in the playoffs up until a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get beat. I'm afraid this is going to be the end of them, but that's why you play the games. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Seahawks turn the football over 4 or 5 times, and you never know, right?
We just keep waiting to see Sam Darnold turn into Sam Darnold.
He only does that with the Rams, and they still end up winning the game somehow, some way. Going to be an interesting football game, though. I would like to see San Francisco win that thing. I don't know why. I like that team. I like McCaffrey, obviously. I like Purdy. I think they're going without George Kittle, though. That really hurts them.
That hurts.
That really hurts them because that's truly Brock Purdy's security blanket. I mean, it truly is. And without him there, their other tight end played fairly well.
Jake Tongas plays well,
yeah,
and he filled in for Kittle earlier in the year and had Kittle, a really good.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's not George Kittle. And George Kittle brings even more when it comes to the emotion and his leadership and just kind of the vibe that he puts into that team with his energy.
No doubt about it. It should be an interesting game. We'll see if San Francisco can stay around in that thing. Seattle's got a pretty good defense themselves. and they've saved Sam Darnold's bacon on more than one occasion. But again, I'm always interested to see, and I say this, and it sounds weird, because if you get an opportunity to have a week off, you obviously take it. But sometimes teams that play the week before have that momentum and they're rolling. And if you get off to a slow start in a particular game, if you had the week off. So, it's going to be interesting to see in both of those games, Buffalo, Denver, San Francisco, Seattle, how Denver come out.
I think the good thing for Seattle is that the final week of the season meant something.
It did.
So they played in the final. So having 1 week off, not a big deal, is teams that start resting people when they lock stuff up super early.
That's Philadelphia.
To avoid injury. Those things are, I think, a bigger deal, because now you're talking about multiple weeks off and then trying to ramp back up into this. You can just treat like any bye week during the season.
And keep in mind, the last team they beat that meant something was the San Francisco 49ers.
And they embarrassed them.
Well, what was that game? 13-3? Mm-hmm. It was a defensive battle, but they shut down that San Francisco offense with George Kittle, by the way. So there you go. And then, of course, the first game on Sunday is the Texans-Patriots. We've talked a lot about that game. The nightcap that will end it all is the Rams taking on the Chicago Bears. And I got to say that anybody that rules the Bears out is foolish, I think. And I say that because it just might be destiny for them. I don't know. They got banged up against Green Bay. They lost an offensive lineman, which is going to hurt them. They also, I think, lost a linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, a player that's a playmaker for that defense. But if I wouldn't have seen that game, honestly, against Green Bay, I would not have believed it. And I'm watching that game, just watching Chicago not do anything in the first half. And then to completely turn that football game around and Green Bay not do anything in the second half and Chicago come back and win that thing was just incredible and a lot of fun.
Let's call it what it was. That was a Green Bay choke job more than anything else. Give Chicago their credit. They did put the pressure on, but Green Bay collapsed under that pressure.
Well, I will say this, and I think what it was is Ben Johnson completely outcoached LaFleur in that second half. He made the adjustments. LaFleur couldn't come back from it. And I think that was a huge part of it.
This is one thing, though, because we love McVay. We love the Rams. I think all of us kind of picked L.A. as our favorites in the NFC to kind of get to the Super Bowl early in the season. And they've kind of been that team for most of the year with little dips along the way. They're an indoor team.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to Chicago. The weather on Sunday night. High of 20, low of 11. Thick cloud cover, bitterly cold with little afternoon snow. 61% chance of snow or some kind of wintry mix throughout the day. Real feel, 10 degrees. Windy.
I want to take you back a year, Pledge. When the Rams went to Philadelphia last year.
I remember.
It was nasty. It was snowing. It was a blizzard. And the Rams should have won that game. They actually blew it. Philly didn't win that game.
Saquon Barkley played pretty well.
Well, he did, but the Rams were right there. They could play in this. I don't think there's any question. We'll see. We'll see. I think the Rams win this game, and I think they win it handily. I do. By handily, 10 or better. I just think that they do. Look, I think Chicago's up and coming. They're going to be there, but I just think they're a year or two away, and the Rams are ready to roll. And what a coaching matchup that's going to be, though. Ben Johnson against Sean McVay.
I'm just saying, when it comes down to that Rams offense and what we're used to seeing out of it, this weather could be an equalizer in how this game just stays close.
It could. It could very well. We'll see. It's going to be a great nightcap to watch that thing.
Much like the Philly game last year.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's going to be fun, man. Again, while last weekend was my favorite weekend of the NFL playoffs, this one's certainly a close second because of what it means. And then it just gets sad after that because
what, championship weekend?
Well, I mean, it's fun, yeah, but it's like then you got 2 weeks off, you got a Super Bowl, and it's like it's over.
Yeah, I mean,
It's over.
It's such a rough week. Super Bowl week. Oh, God.
But you got to wait 2 weeks for that thing. That's what sucks. In the week prior to the week leading up to the Super Bowl, just like, the hell am I doing? I mean, there's only so much you can talk about in 2 weeks between, I don't know, the Rams and Buffalo.
I don't know. The Spurs will keep us entertained.
They will keep us entertained, hopefully. That including tonight when they go up to Oklahoma City and take on the Thunder. Hopefully beat them for the 4th time this season. It's going to be interesting. A lot of changes. The Eagles have demoted their offensive coordinator. Didn't fire him, but they demoted him. And I found it interesting that Jalen Hurts did not give, was it Putello, a ringing endorsement.
It's too soon to think about that. And like I said, I put my trust in Howie, Nick, and Mr. Leary.
So he didn't give him an endorsement. It's too early to talk about that. Well, the Eagles, it wasn't.
Put my trust in the GM, the head coach, and the owner.
It wasn't too early to replace the guy. Again, they didn't fire him for all intents and purposes, but they did demote him. That is for sure. So there's a big change. The Chargers fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. He's been fired completely. He's done. And if you watch the game against the Patriots, well, maybe you know why. They didn't have much. And the Panthers are going to pick up the 5th-year option for quarterback Bryce Young. They're not going to extend him this year. They're going to make him play out that 5th year, but they did pick up the option. We'll see how he plays. He's going to have a prove-it year coming up for the Carolina Panthers.
He played well this year.
He played well on Saturday against the Rams, I thought. I thought he played really well. And you know what's funny about that, Pledge, is that he was horrible his rookie year. He was not good. But he has really improved, and you can see progress. And if you're the Panthers, that's got to make you really happy. But they're not happy enough to extend him early. They're going to make him play out that 5th year.
Sure.
So, that's okay. That's not a bad thing, I guess. So, we'll see how that plays out. But a lot of changes, and obviously the big story of the day today is Mike Tomlin. We've got a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Mike Tomlin, if you're just getting around the radio, you had your head in the sand all day, left the Pittsburgh Steelers on his own. He decided to quit and move on and do whatever. The Steelers do retain his rights, however, because technically he's still under contract with Pittsburgh through next year, and I think there's an option for another year after that. So any team that wants Mike Tomlin is going to have to negotiate with Pittsburgh. We'll see what happens. If somebody really wants him and they want to make a trade with Pittsburgh for him, then we'll see if they do that. If not, I could see Mike Tomlin maybe sitting in a booth or sitting in a studio this season and offering his analysis, which would be pretty much fun there as well. But there are a bunch of head coach openings in the NFL, 9 of them. We've got 4 on a poll on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. What is the best available opening in the NFL right now? Right now, the Ravens are running away with it at 49%, but we also have the Steelers, the Giants, and the Dolphins. The Giants are second at 25%, Steelers at 15%, and the Dolphins have actually come up, Pledge, to 11%.
Quality of life means something.
Double digits for those Miami types. How about that? Interesting. Going to be an interesting offseason for sure. Cowboys still looking for a defensive coordinator as well. Had some interviews today, including former Arizona Cardinal head coach Jonathan Gannon. Speaking of head coaches, when we return, I saw a ranking, and quite frankly, maybe I'm the only one that didn't know this, but there is a preseason, way before the season, poll on head coaches in the SEC. Who's the best to the worst? We're talking about it because there's some in there you're going, you're crazy. Unbelievable. We're talking about it. We continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for The Blitz. 2 to 6 on YouTube and always at sasportstar.com.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can also text BAIL to 474747 or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or online, mybestbailbonds.com.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting weak is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ends 131. Select models only.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Breaking this afternoon, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin stepping down as head coach after 19 years in Pittsburgh. Steelers now will look for their 4th head coach since 1969. And the San Antonio Spurs with a big one tonight. They return to action in Oklahoma City. Spurs are 3-0 against OKC this season. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock tonight. Will be broadcast on FanDuel Sports Network.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Man, this is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix with the day off today, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday afternoon. I know you are. If you get off at 5 o'clock, you're off. Your Tuesday's over. You're sliding right into that hump day, just like that. So, man, it's already the middle of the week as far as you're concerned. Congratulations, and I'm glad you stopped by here and spent a little time with us. James Pledger running the show in there, playing the music, doing all that kind of stuff, and we're just having a good time. The breaking news today with the Mike Tomlin story and what's going to happen with him, that was kind of surprised everybody, including the Pittsburgh Steelers this morning. According to Adam Schefter, said they had no clue. Brooke Taylor, who covers the Steelers for ESPN, said there was no indication that she had heard of, and even the players were caught by surprise. Apparently, the story goes that Tomlin went in and spoke with his team, spoke with the owner or the president there of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and informed them that he was leaving. But there is a little catch when it comes to Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. He can't just go off and work for another football team because they still own his rights. The Steelers do. He's still under contract there, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him and how he does that. James Pledger brought up something interesting.
Could be really funny.
During the break, Mike Tomlin took over for Bill Cowher with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Could he do that again at CBS? He only had to take over for Cowher twice.
I mean, they need somebody to inject some youth and life into that.
They certainly
broadcast.
do. That CBS pregame show could use something. I mean, my goodness, they're very. CBS has always had a reputation for being kind of old, but that show is just fast moving. I'll tell you what, and I like Fox still. But Fox is even kind of getting that way a little bit. Like Terry Bradshaw's Terry Bradshaw, and he's a goofball and a redneck and all of that kind of stuff, and he's funny sometimes. But I don't know. Even that is. I have a tendency now to watch either the NFL Network or ESPN.
Me too.
More so than anything else, and so it's kind of interesting. But it is what it is, and we'll have to do a poll on that at some point in time. Pledge. What's the best pregame show in the NFL? Maybe we'll save that for the beginning of next season. I don't know. And broadcasters and all that, and I know we talk a lot about that, but it is what it is. I didn't know, but there is a coach's ranking in the SEC that comes out before the season, even before most of the offseason, for goodness sake. And I find it interesting. I really do, because there's some on here I agree with and some that I don't. We'll go from bottom to the top. I would imagine the top you can imagine. Kirby Smart is listed as number 1. Anybody disagree with that? I don't have any problem with that. And then they've got Lane Kiffin as the second best head coach in the SEC. I don't even necessarily disagree with that. Here's where I start to disagree. Kalen DeBoer, Alabama's head coach, they've got him at number 3. What has Kalen DeBoer done at Alabama that makes him the third best head coach in the SEC?
He's had fans clamoring for him for 2 straight years to be fired at some point.
I agree. I don't understand that. I really don't. They were lucky to get into the playoffs, I guess lucky, and they got their asses handed to them. But I don't get it. I really don't get it. This one I don't get either. I'll be totally honest with you. Josh Heupel at Tennessee is next at number 4. Please, somebody give me something that Josh Heupel's done at Tennessee.
I'm shocked I haven't heard Steve Sarkisian's name yet.
Well, he comes next at number 5. So, look, Sarkisian, I'd certainly put him ahead. I'm not sure he's the third best head coach in the SEC, but I'd certainly have him ahead of Kalen DeBoer and Josh Heupel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that at all. You got Brett Venables next, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners.
I can see that.
Okay, number 6, fine. He did a pretty good job this year, for sure. Eli Drinkowitz, Missouri's head coach.
Doing a really good job
at
with
number 7.
Lesser talent.
True. I'll give him that.
He's keeping them competitive in SEC circles despite it being Missouri.
So, would you put those guys ahead of one Mike Elko? Because Elko, Texas A&M, comes in at number 8. With what Elko did this year, and I know A&M gets the same rap that the New England Patriots are getting this time around, that they didn't play anybody and their schedule was easy, but still, I think Mike Elko coming in, changing the culture there, I would certainly put him higher than number 8.
I'd have him in the top 5.
I think so, or a little bit closer to the top 5 for sure. Then it gets interesting. Shane Beamer with South Carolina, pretty good job. They didn't have a good record this year, but they're competitive and damn near beat Mike Elko and the Texas A&M Aggies. That was one hell of a football game. But I wouldn't have him higher than, say, is it Clark Lee from Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt,
oh yeah,
pretty good job. I might have Vanderbilt, the head coach, a little bit higher than there.
A lot higher.
And then I don't understand how you rank some of these guys. John Summerall hasn't coached a day in the SEC.
Well, they're the coach. You got to put them on the list.
Well, you got to put him on the list, but you got to put him at 11. How is he better than, I don't know, say Alex Golish or Ryan Silverfield or Pete Golding? At least Pete Golding won a game in the SEC.
Yeah, I'll put Pete Golding up ahead of all the new coaches.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just a weird thing, and it's like any poll. You're going to have your agreements. You're going to have your disagreements. Will Stein, who hasn't coached at all, the new Kentucky head coach, brings up the rear. Jeff Lebby with Mississippi State is at 15. But I find that interesting. It's just like any other poll that comes out before the season. It's just like it's all BS, quite frankly. I do agree with the top two, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin. Yes, I'll give that to them. I will give that to them as 1 and 2. After that, a lot of disagreements on there, especially with Kalen DeBoer, for goodness sake. I don't know if there's any Alabama types out there that want to try to defend Kalen DeBoer, but geez, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Third is that feels so wrong.
It does. It really does.
For a guy that feels like he's been on the hot seat since he got there, which rightfully so when you're replacing a legend like Nick Saban. But I swear, Alabama fans want him on the next bus out of town.
Well, and again, it is tough. To his defense, it's tough to replace a guy like Nick Saban, but still, he
made the playoffs. Made the playoffs.
He made them, but there's an argument to be made that should he have made the playoffs?
Look, I don't believe playing in a conference championship game should guarantee you not falling.
Well, I agree, and he had 3 losses, for goodness sake. I mean, I don't know. And I think they showed they didn't belong as soon as they got in there.
Well, I think Indiana showed just how much better they are than everyone.
Which brings that up. I am so looking forward to next Monday night. I got to tell you.
I'm not. I think it's going to get ugly.
You do? I don't. I think Miami's defense is such that they're going to be able to hang. And they may not win the game. Indiana may win the game. But, man, I think Miami's defense can hang with them and will force – I don't know. I like that. I'm looking forward to the game. If it turns out to be a blowout, it turns out to be a blowout. But I'm looking forward to the game and can't wait. And, again, we'll be out at the Rue Pub Monday. Make your plans now to come out there and pregame with us because the national championship game is next Monday night. And, of course, there's no better place to watch it than at the Rue Pub. Come hungry. The food is great. We will broadcast, Jason and I, at the Blitz. Rue Pub at 281 in Redland Road for the national championship game. Of course, our show is from 2 to 6. The big game, though, or the big news is, that Mike Tomlin was fired. And a lot of – let's hear that Biscotti soundbite one more time. What happens if Tomlin and Harbaugh just change places?
Mike Tomlin stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike.
I just think that would be unbelievable. But again, there has to be some sports hate, does there not? There has to be some sports hate between Tomlin, who coached the Steelers for 19 years, and Harbaugh, who coached the Ravens for 19 years. Got to be a little sports hate between the two. Let's go to the phone lines, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. What do we have on there? Man M is on line 1, wants to talk Harbaugh and Tomlin. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
I'm good.
If anything, I wanted to ask you and Pledge a question. So, of course, I'm a Cowboy fan, but so seeing Harbaugh and Tomlin gone now is a little surreal. And, of course, you would think that they want somebody better. But my question would be, how often has that happened? The only two I can think of would probably be Gruden taking over for Tony Dungy, and in basketball, probably Steve Kerr, taking over for Mark Jackson. But when has that ever worked?
Well, it hasn't, but let me throw this out at you. 19 years for Tomlin, 18 years for Harbaugh. At some point in time, man, it just gets smelly.
True.
I mean, it
yeah,
really,
we'll see what
it
happens.
does.
But it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, but it makes it fun, my friend. Thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it. That does open up a phone line. If you got something to say on Harbaugh and Tomlin or the Spurs or whatever you were talking about here, because we will talk some Spurs basketball. Good. Well, first, though, before we do that, we're going to talk to Charean Williams, ProFootballTalk.com, about the Cowboys search, and I know she's got some thoughts on what's happening around the NFL with all the coaching vacancies and stuff. Charean Williams, ProFootballTalk.com, joins us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Hello, this is Jason Thompson, and as you know, I've been practicing law here in San Antonio for more than 30 years, helping people and families injured in traffic collisions. So I'm often asked, what is the worst thing you can do after a traffic collision? And the answer is easy. That's trying to handle it on your own without an attorney. Insurance companies have spent billions perfecting their strategy of paying nothing or as little as they can get away with. It wouldn't be David versus Goliath. It would be David versus a million Goliaths. You have no chance. Using AI for help is even worse because AI routinely gives dangerously inaccurate legal advice. It is laughably bad on the law. So bad that a lawyer filing a document drafted by AI will likely be disbarred in Texas. Keep it simple. Just call me. My name is Jason Thompson. I'll give you a free review of your case with no obligation to hire me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com. That's alawyerforus.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226. 800-888-5226.
If your dog goes wild at the doorbell, it's time for a new game plan. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuits is coaching up new pups and current MVPs with professional training sessions. Call them today at 210-750-1298. That's 210-750-1298. Call them today.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is the home of the Aggies, and this is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Back here on a breaking news day here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinigle. Jason Minix with the day off. But so much football talk going on, so much movement in the NFL that we had to talk to Mother Football. So joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line is Charean Williams. Charean, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate it. I know you've had a busy day, but I've got to ask you right off the bat, what was your first thought when you heard about Mike Tomlin stepping down this morning?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I mean, based on what we've been hearing the last couple of weeks, it seemed like this was inevitable. And it was, and it was his decision, and he decided to step down. So it sounds like it's a lot like the Sean Payton situation, going to TV for a year. He's had a lot of job offers. I think probably you look at Fox is maybe where he could land and do TV for a year and then step back into football, and somebody will make a good trade, and the Steelers will get some good draft picks out of it. If you remember, when they traded for Sean Payton, it was a first and second rounder, and in return, the Broncos got Sean Payton and a third-round pick. So it's probably going to be something like that. It's established. I mean, it's a Super Bowl winning coach. So we know what probably the compensation is going to be. That's probably about what it's going to be. Jerry Dulac of the local paper there, one of the beat writers, has reported that he has $50 million left on his contract. So he's making somewhere around $25 million a year, if that's true. So it's also going to take an awful lot of money to get him on board. But there are going to be multiple suitors, make no doubt about that.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about that. I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin, and I wish that he would have had more success in the playoffs, and I feel bad for him. Last night, Charean, I've got to ask you, Aaron Rodgers looked like he was 105. I mean, is that sad, as sad to you as it is to me? I really don't like seeing great athletes perform like that in their later years.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of help. You look at the pass that DK Metcalf dropped, that would have been a big gainer. That was a huge play early in that game. But just to your point, when he was running the ball, I mean, if you watched Aaron Rodgers up till like 5 years ago, maybe, like, he would take off running. He was a dangerous runner. He might have looked gangly, weird doing it, whatever word you want to use. It wasn't real smooth, but boy, he was a good runner, and he could escape pressure, and he just couldn't do that. And, you saw it in that Browns game in week 17, when Miles Garrett did not get the record, that he was just getting rid of the ball so quickly, so he's so scared of getting hit. And he didn't take any sacks from Miles Garrett, but they also didn't win the game. They lost to an awful team just because he didn't want to get hit and wouldn't stand in the pocket and could not escape the pocket as well. So, yeah, I just think that mobility and everything is gone, and that was part of his game, and he's a different quarterback. The mental part of it, he's if he had this the first couple of years, just think how good he would have been. But he still has that part of it. But at some point, I think he still has the arm too. But the legs seem to me to be gone. And once you lose the legs, that's it. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to be real surprised if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year.
Well, I would be too, and I don't know how you feel about this, Charean, but I think with the Mike Tomlin news, he certainly won't be back in Pittsburgh, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I agree with that. He'll if he wants to play somewhere else, it would have to be another team giving him a chance, and maybe somebody would as a bridge quarterback. I don't know who off the top of my head. I certainly wouldn't. I would not do that. And I don't know if there will be a suitor to do that. So I don't know that he's going to have. Pittsburgh was his only opportunity this year. So would there be another opportunity next year? My guess is no, and my guess is he knows it's a no based on what happened this year. So I think he walks away. I think he retires, and I think he does it relatively quickly. I don't think he draws this thing out. I think he's going to retire relatively quickly.
Charean Williams with ProFootballTalk.com joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. So many things happening, so many moving parts in the NFL, Charean, and I don't know, and maybe I'm just not thinking far enough back. I can't remember this amount of head coach openings in the NFL. I know there's usually 5, 6 every year, but 9? It seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, well, and we talked about this last week, and I just had the stat, and now I've lost it on Twitter, but I think it's either the most or the second ties for the most or the second most I saw. I'll have to try to find that and get that to you, but I just saw that. So it is an unusual number, and I think I said last week I thought it was going to be a low number of openings, and it hasn't. It's been a huge number, and I'm really surprised by that we've had so many openings. I really thought it was going to be around 5 or 6 maybe, and it's pretty amazing that we've had this many. And is it over? Like, is Sean McDermott, if they lose, is he going to walk away? I don't know. So, it has been an interesting offseason with this much movement in the coaching business, and maybe it just continues like this, that we see these continually, a lot of them every single year. Coaches aren't getting a long time to develop a team and produce. They've got to do it right away. And you know what? If Schottenheimer doesn't have a good season this year, if they don't make the playoffs and have a losing record again, I think we're talking about, is Brian Schottenheimer safe? Now, we all know that Jerry hasn't paid off a contract since Wade Phillips. I get all that, but I do think you're talking about that this time next year, a little bit before this time next year, whether his job is safe, simply because owners and GMs, in the Cowboys case, that's one and the same, but they just don't seem to be patient anymore. It's a win-now business, and if they don't, then they get rid of them. And it's what's added to it is the success of the Jaguars, the success of the Patriots this year, the success of the Bears this year, because it's been shown that it can be done overnight. They've done that. And so owners aren't going to wait for coaches to give them time to win. It's a win-now business, and it's even more so than it's been ever before. They're paid a lot of money, and they expect results right away.
Yeah, no doubt. Charean Williams with ProFootballTalk.com joining us here on the Blitz. Speaking of Shotty and the Dallas Cowboys, they are looking for a defensive coordinator, and I'm curious to hear what you think, Charean. When I look at some of the candidates that have been interviewed by the Cowboys, it leads me to believe that maybe Brian Schottenheimer is having a little more say-so in this particular selection than other coaches have had, just by the names and the ages and the people that they're talking to. What is your feeling on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. And they don't have ties to the Cowboys. They're not Jerry Jones's guys. They're not Mike Zimmer. They're not Matt Eberflus, who has a relationship with Jerry. These are different guys, and I like it. I like the people they've interviewed. Now, are they going to step up and pay what it would take to get one of these defensive coordinators that they've interviewed? Jonathan Gannon's probably, even though he's getting paid by the Cardinals, still going to probably take some money to do that. And some of these others. So are they going to step up and pay the money that it takes to get some of these guys who are being well paid by their teams? I mean, if you're a defensive pass game coordinator, you're making a good salary with where you are. So the Cowboys historically have not been willing to pay big salaries to assistant coaches. They need to in this case to get them a good defensive coordinator, whoever they determine of that list that they've interviewed. And I don't think that's the end of the list. But of those that they've interviewed, and they pick one out, when they pick one out, they need to be willing to step up and pay the money that's going to take to bring that person in if that's the right person for the job. And there's some really good, any of those that have interviewed so far, I'd say, great. I think he's going to be a good defensive coordinator for you. So they just got to pick out which one they think fits their personnel best. Which scheme fits their personnel best? I think that's what you're looking for at this point.
Well, and I just like the fact that Shotty's more involved in this, and I think you can really tell, and I like that. So, and Jerry's allowing that, and that's good. How long do you think something like this drags out, Charean, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys? I know there's a lot of openings, some more OCs fired today. How long do you think it drags out for the Cowboys?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say at least another week, maybe two, but I think 2 weeks. It's going to be happening before the Super Bowl. I think everything starts to get done that week. That dead week after the conference championship games, I would expect all those jobs to kind of start being filled that week, that off week of the NFL season, when there's no game on that weekend. I think that's the week that teams tend to start filling all these jobs. So next week into the next week, some point in the next, what would that be, week and a half to 2 weeks, it gets done.
Charean Williams with ProFootballTalk.com joining us here on the Blitz. And Charean, I don't know if you watched that Green Bay Bears game on Saturday night, but it was an amazing game first and foremost, but they did the Cowboys a favor. Cowboys now have the 12th and the 20th pick in the first round in this draft. So many ways that they can go, and it's hard to even speculate. I think they're going to go defense with those first two picks, but do you think Jerry might actually – and I'm giving Jerry more credit than I probably should. Let's keep that in mind, and I'm accused of doing that on this show more times than not. But I think Jerry will spend some money to improve that defense this year and make it a defense-specific draft.
I think it will be a defense-specific draft. I think both of the first-round picks better be defensive players. They don't have a pick again until the fourth round. So you're ultimately probably getting two starters out of this draft. Realistically, in that first season, they better both be defensive players, which means spending those first-round picks on defensive players. I don't know if they'll spend money. I'm going to have to see it to believe it. I mean, they haven't done it since the Brandon Carr year, which was so long ago. When they spent $50.1 million on him on the first year of free agency. And then they haven't done it since. They got burned by that, said we're not doing it again, and they haven't done it again. So I'm going to have to see it to believe it. They could talk all they want. We heard all in 2 years ago, and then, that's not really what I meant and whatnot and so forth. So they talk a lot, but they haven't done it by their actions. So until they do it by their actions, I'm going to be very skeptical that they're going to spend money in free agency when they should spend money, which is that first wave of free agency. And I'm not saying you have to go out and spend $10, $15, $20 million a year on defensive players, but there are really good players in that first wave of free agency that you can get for a reasonable amount of money. Yes, you're going to have to spend money, and yes, you're going to have to spend more money than you spend on the second week of free agency. But to me, sitting out that first week of free agency is not the answer. It hasn't been the answer for them. They should have learned that by now. This many years in a row, not making the playoffs, having a terrible defense 2 years in a row, and really not having a good defense since Dan Quinn was here. And a defensive coordinator is not going to magically turn this thing around with the personnel that they have. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to have to help him with some personnel to get his type of players in here. And if you don't do that in free agency, then you're basically relying on two players to come in and start with the players that you re-sign on this current defense. That's just not going to be enough.
Risky proposition for sure, no doubt about it. Charean, I've got to ask you before I let you go. We've got a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. What is the best head coach opening in the NFL right now? And we can only have 4 spots, so this is what we went with. Steelers, Ravens, Giants, Dolphins. Could have gone Falcons. We went Dolphins. Of those 4, what do you think is the best opening?
Well, you always look at who has the quarterback in place, and the team that has the quarterback in place is the Ravens. So I would definitely go with the Ravens as the best opening. I don't think the Steelers, other than stability and consistency that they offer, is a real great job. Who do you have as your quarterback going forward? They spent way too much money on the defense. It's going to be hard to rebuild that offense. And so the other two have, who'd you say, Dolphins, and who else? Dolphins have a quarterback question. Who was the other team?
The Giants.
Yeah, and the Giants may have the quarterback. They have some awfully good players on defense. So I'd probably go Ravens 1 and Giants 2 would probably be my two picks there. The Giants are going to be willing to spend some money, and I think the Ravens will be willing to spend some money too to help that defense get better. You probably have Matabike coming back, which was really that hurt that defense when he went out. He's such a good player there in the interior of that defensive line. It really hurt that defense when he went out. I think you saw how valuable he is to that defense. You got some good players still on defense. You just got to kind of rebuild around those good players that you have. So to me, it's the Ravens because of the quarterback, and then probably after that, the Giants.
And what I think every Cowboy fan, every Eagle fan, every Commander fan is scared of, it might be John Harbaugh filling that spot.
Yeah, it very well could be. And I think that would be a scary proposition because I think he'd get that team rebuilt relatively quickly. So, yeah, I think that's a scary proposition for the rest of the NFC. Somebody asked me yesterday or this morning sometime that they thought that the Eagles have, the dynasty, Eagles short dynasty, however long you want to say it is, but the Eagles are headed downward. And maybe they are. And then he said, what team do you see replacing the Eagles at the top of the division? I was like, well, that's the problem is I don't see a team that's ready to replace the Eagles at the top of the division. I mean, the Eagles' defense is really good. But maybe it's the Giants. They do have some good defensive parts. And if they get John Harbaugh in there and spend some money, that may be the team you're looking at that's ready to replace the Eagles at the top of the NFC East. That wouldn't surprise me at all that they could be the team that turns this around in a hurry if they get a coach like John Harbaugh.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Follow her on Twitter at NFL Charean. Charean Williams, ProFootballTalk.com. Charean, thanks for, I know you had a busy day. Appreciate you taking some time with us here on The Blitz.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Charean Williams, ProFootballTalk.com. Of course, all guests appear via the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Always love getting Charean Williams' opinion on what's happening around the NFL and then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. Spurs with a big game tonight, huge game in Oklahoma City. They have a chance to knock off those guys for the fourth time this season. Let's talk some Spurs basketball when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hump day on the Morning Huddle. We'll be in talking Spurs and Thunder. Who left happy?
The coaching carousel continues to turn. What's a Tomlin worth? Where does Harbaugh want to live? So many questions. We got the answers. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Got to talk to you about my friends at Connecticut Quality Water Softeners. I love mine. Had it in the house now for several months, and I tell you what a difference this thing makes. You need to treat yourself. Trust me on this thing. It is better than any other water softener I have ever had, and I've had a few, and I was a skeptic coming into this thing, thinking, there's no way it could be better. But I knew right away that it is. It is incredible. Head and shoulders better than anything else I have ever had. It is the most popular water softener on the market. They've been serving San Antonio for over 50 years, and all of their products are made right here in the good old U.S. of A. And I love the fact that it doesn't run on electricity. It runs on that kinetic energy. I don't know what that means. I know it doesn't add anything to my electric bill. And I know it provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is an incredible product. And just to sweeten the deal, Connecticut, well, they're going to give you a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they'll install right there at your kitchen sink. What does that mean for you? It means you have bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. No need to buy bottled water anymore. You've got it right there. Plus, they'll give you free money, 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. An incredible deal. Take advantage of it. Treat yourself. Treat your family. you will be glad that you did. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at KineticoSA.com. And you know the jingle, sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Pricing coverage match limited by state law.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Back here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Still have our poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. A lot of people participating in this thing. It's a very simple question. Which NFL opening is the best available? The Ravens are running away with this thing. Charean Williams agrees with you. That's what she said would be her favorite. 47% for the Ravens. The New York Football Giants are second at 25%. Steelers 15, Dolphins 14. So there you go. Thanks to everybody who voted in our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page poll. You still got time if you want to go participate in that. If you haven't done so yet, get over there and get that done. San Antonio Spurs with a big game tonight. Oklahoma City again. In Oklahoma City, fourth time they're going to play the Thunder. And, boy, I tell you what, they have just owned OKC so far this year. It has been incredible. And can they do it again? Can they do it again? That's going to be the question. Can they beat them for a fourth time? It won't be easy. And, again, I mentioned this earlier in the show. If you weren't with us, the OKC Thunder are a 9-point favorite. A 9-point favorite. Think about that. Is that just complete disrespect or what? Unbelievable. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think the Spurs match up well against Oklahoma City. I think they'll have an opportunity to get that done again. But, again, they're going to have to play well. A lot better than they played the other night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But it is what it is. And, I just think it's one of those matchups that you just like if you're a Spurs fan. You just like it. It's a good matchup. And so I like it. We'll talk more Spurs basketball, but right now, well, we've got to talk a little, injuries and updates and all of that kind of stuff. Our TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine Injury Update brought to you by TSAOG.com. Dr. Josh Bell joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Dr. Bell, how's your Tuesday going?
It's going great. How are you doing, Joe?
I am doing just fine, Dr. Bell. Appreciate you taking the time. It's always educational when you guys are on Tuesdays. I want to talk to you about something that happened yesterday, last night in the Texans game. Nico Collins suffered a concussion. And I guess what concerns me a little bit about that, Doc, is the fact that he had to be carted off the field. He wasn't able to walk on his own. Does that mean anything to you?
Absolutely. I mean, the concussions, concussion obviously is an injury to the brain. So there's a kind of a whiplash injury of the brain that happens. And so when it happens like that, the more severe the symptoms are at the beginning, the more we worry about it. So, could it mean that he clears it quickly and everything's okay? Sure. But if you had someone who was knocked out for, a couple of minutes, that's certainly much worse than someone that just kind of feels a little dizzy for a couple of seconds. So certainly being carted off the field indicates a bigger neurologic kind of injury at the outset. A little more concerning, but again, we won't know until we see how he responds, or obviously we don't have much of an update yet.
Boy, and that's bad news for the Houston Texans, obviously, with the game in 6 days against the New England Patriots on the road. And if they don't have Nico Collins, certainly a big loss to them. It just looked pretty scary to me, especially when you're talking about a guy that's a star of the football team, to be carted off. I don't know that I've ever seen that, Doc. Is that common?
I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's common, but it certainly is a scary situation when that happens. In those situations, I mean, it's playoff football. I mean, the playoff games this weekend, when you see the hits, it's just another level.
It is.
So, when you see those hits and you see a guy like Nico, who's a beast. I mean, he's a big physical receiver, and I almost think to myself, why aren't there more? You know what I mean? After this weekend of football, how are there not more guys carted off just based on the level of hits that were happening? Certainly concerning. I hope he can come back. It's sad that it's a short week, so he doesn't get that extra day or two to kind of get the recovery. But they're going to do all they can, obviously, for this guy to see if he can be out there. But certainly concerning setting off the week that way. More to be seen here during the week.
Dr. Josh Bell joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Now, Dr. Bell, when you're talking about a concussion, and I know we've talked about this before, but Nico to play this coming up weekend, what are you looking for as a doctor when somebody has a concussion and you want to clear them?
Yeah, so usually the orthopedic surgeon, we're involved in a lot of the musculoskeletal care, but usually they'll have either a neurologist or someone who does internal medicine or medicine types things that will clear them. Ultimately, we're very involved, but we're not the final say on those. But usually what happens is first, we have to make sure they're clear of any neurologic deficits. So if they're still dizzy, if they still have headaches, if they still have symptoms, you're obviously not going to go back. Once they're able to clear those symptoms, then there's a protocol that we follow where they can ramp up some of their activities and see if they're able to do that without symptoms. And so that's really what it takes. So for high school football, for example, UIL has a very set of rules. And so usually a return is about a week, assuming everything goes on schedule. So a 6-day, a little bit harder, but using the general rules, it's for a lot of these concussions, it's about a week. Obviously, there's some ways to some treatments that they do in terms of some magnesium supplementation, some other medications they might give. They certainly shut down some of their stimulus that they get to their eyes, like being on screens, etc. But there's a very specific protocol they follow. Hope it's less than a week, but it's often a week.
Gotcha. Dr. Josh Bell joining us here on the Blitz. Doc, Cowboys cornerback Deron Bland had surgery on his left foot this week, and it's his second surgery on the same foot in as many years. Obviously not a good thing, but should we be concerned with 2 surgeries on the same foot in 2 years?
Yeah, I would say so. It's really hard to read. I was trying to read, Pledge was telling me about it. I was trying to read through the tea leaves to figure out exactly what happened there. I'm not exactly clear about exactly what surgery he had the first time and whether that was a revision of the same surgery that he had before. Sometimes when we get these surgeries, and I saw some reports that he had a stress fracture. I don't know if this is related to that. So those stress fractures, sometimes they don't completely heal properly, and we have to go back and do something again. Again, second surgery on the same foot, always a concern. Hard to know with the limited reporting we've had so far.
Gotcha. Dr. Josh Bell joining us here on the Blitz. And Dr. Bell, Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Rams, sprained his finger. That's what his right index finger. The sign looked like he hit it on another guy's hand or maybe a helmet even. The x-rays were negative in that thing. He's 37 years old, and obviously it is his throwing hand. He didn't look as good after that happened in the game the other day. How much of those effects will he feel, do you think, coming in to this game this week?
Well, it definitely will be an impact. Index finger, I think they can get away with a little bit with index finger because sometimes they'll be able to tape it to another finger, do a little bit with it. Thumb, I worry a little bit more about. Hard to know. Again, very cryptic reports and exactly what he had happen. But Matt Stafford's a gamer. I mean, he is a gamer. So if there's any chance he can go, he's going to go. So, he was able to finish the game. I think he's going to be okay to go. It'll be interesting to see, kind of if the ball speed has the same speed coming out of it at the beginning of the game. That'll be the telltale, I think.
It's going to be interesting to watch, and that's why we have you on, Doctor, because we need to know these things. I've got to ask you, Devin Vassell is going to miss another game tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. He's got that adductor strain. Now, I learned a little bit about that last week when we talked about it, but what is a typical time frame to recover from something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you think about the adductors. I describe it to people like if you're a hockey goalie and someone's going to go the 5-hole and you got to bring your leg all the way back real quick. That's the muscle that does that. So that's a big muscle. Those muscles that control your legs are big, giant muscles. So, I think about adductor strains and, like sometimes they'll get those oblique strains kind of that go into the abdomen a little bit. Those can really take a long time to heal all the way. So usually what they're doing is they're kind of just managing minutes. Even when they come back, they're managing minutes. They're seeing how they feel. They're, seeing how they respond to treatment. But I wouldn't doubt it if, depending on the severity of the injury, that's something that he's got to deal with or treat throughout the whole season, just because, it's to take enough of a break to get all the way better would be missing a significant part of the season, depending on the injury itself.
Wow. Well, that's certainly good to know. Again, he's going to miss, I think it's a couple of weeks now that that he hasn't played. So I all truth be told, Dr. Bell, I can tell you this, we're friends. Last week when I said adductor, I was thinking abdominal. I was like, so I was way off. And I was saying when I got the answer to where that injury was, I was like, who knew? That's why we have you guys on.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to have a job. I got a job.
Absolutely. For goofballs like me, Dr. Bell, that's for sure. Dr. Josh Bell, appreciate your time this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bell. And, well, all the doctors, this is the Injury Update. It's powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. And, of course, Dr. Bell and all of our guests join us via the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Interesting that, he's talking about Devin Vassell, and he could miss some more time depending on how the severity of that thing and how they want to bring him back. And I think in some of these games, actually, you see that the Spurs are actually missing a Devin Vassell.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll miss him tonight, again, against OKC. My gut tells me, though, Pledge, even if the Spurs lose tonight, and I'm not convinced that they will, they don't lose by 9 points, do they?
No.
Crazy. That's just crazy talk.
It's a massive line.
Crazy talk. Unbelievable.
I believe this will be his 8th game.
Eighth game. Okay, couple 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, when it comes to that. Thanks for everybody participating in our online poll. Again, the Ravens, the runaway winner with the best opening available in the NFL right now. Breaking news day. It's always a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I know Pledge does as well. Keep in mind, Jason Minix will be back tomorrow when we hit the Blitz here at 2 o'clock. Don't forget to get up with the fellas in the morning. AJ and Rob, they'll get you started at 6 o'clock. And, of course, they'll have a lot to say about the Mike Tomlin resignation as well. And, Pledge, you got a show? Coming up next, right here on these very airways, Mr. James Pledger. Extra innings with Pledge. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
This is 94.